G'day everyone, I'm Jake Phillips, Extension Manager for Angus Australia. Thanks for joining me to tune in to the highly anticipated Spring Bull Night for 2022. Tonight we're joined by 7 semen companies and a breeder making their Spring Bull Night debut. The order of tonight's program will be as follows. Tonight we continue the tradition of helping to work with these companies to showcase some of the new and proven sires in the Angus breed. The companies involved tonight all have chosen to maintain an online semen catalogue with Angus Australia, which is available through the Angus Australia website and the Angus Select feature. If some of the bulls catch your attention tonight, then we'd strongly recommend you to record their information and locate them in the online catalogue, where you will also find features available such as the Angus Mating Predictor to begin to plan your spring mating season. This is also a great time to pop those sires into the Mating Predictor, available through the Angus Tech component of the Angus website, and run them against the females within your herd. This will help establish the right size for your operation this breeding season. If you would like to discuss anything displayed tonight, such as EBVs, selection indexes or other breeding and registration information, or require further points of clarification, then please do not hesitate to give staff at Angus Australia a call. Of course, if you would like more information on the bulls presented tonight, you can find the relevant company's contact information by going to the contact section of the respective catalogue on the Angus Australia website. We know all of the presenters tonight would be really keen to hear from you and to talk further about your AI sire requirements this breeding season, so please give them a call. Before we begin, just a reminder that we rely heavily on participant feedback for all Angus Australia events, including the Spring Bull Night. In the comments section of this video on both Facebook and on YouTube, we have a link to a very short survey to give us the best chance of continuing to conduct these events. We would really appreciate you completing this short survey. We're also excited to announce that the first 100 members to complete this survey, and supply their member ident will receive a free Angus Australia glass travel coffee cup. Well, get the popcorn ready and the choc tops out, recline the sofa and dim the lights. The Spring Bull Night is here. Kicking us off is Genetics Australia. Sit back and relax and enjoy the show.
Good evening everybody, welcome to the 2022 Angus Spring Bull Night. Nigel Simmons, John Gomez here joining me tonight. Genetics Australia is very pleased to be involved in the Spring Bull Night again this year. We're joining you today from southern New South Wales, and we've got a pretty extensive lineup of bulls that we want to present to you tonight. We've made quite a number of acquisitions since 2021. And John and I will be going through that with you tonight. John, you've been with us for 12 months, pretty much to the day. You've settled in quite well, got your feet on the ground, and been very involved in some of the acquisitions and bulls we've selected over the last 12 months. What's some of your favourites that you think off the top of your head that have come into the team in the last 12 months?
Look, I think particularly a couple of the bulls we've brought in this autumn are pretty exciting. Ellingson Rangeland, he's gained a lot of traction already from breeders all around Australia, and another bull like Tahama Testament, he's going to get a lot of use this spring, no doubt as well. Really balanced bull and very interesting pedigree. So yeah, no, it's been exciting and really enjoyed my first 12 months with GA, and building on the success of existing bulls in the catalogue, and excited with some of the new additions.
John, our first bull we present tonight is our lead-off bull in the side directory from last year, and he'll be the lead-off bull heavily featured in this year's catalogue, Texas Iceman. $225,000 high-selling bull from Texas Angus sale last year. By far one of the most popular Angus bulls in Australia in the last 12 months. Seen quite a lot of use from commercial and stud producers. He offers so much diversity with his pedigree. He give you lots of options to use him over a number of different maternal lines. His calving ease, his growth, is really attractive to a lot of producers. You've recently been down to Tasmania and seen some of the first progeny by Iceman in Tasmania. What did you think of those?
Yeah, look, I was absolutely wrapped in the calves, and the breeders were even more excited about them. You know, they come small, they come vigorous, they have a real look to them. They get out and they thicken up quick. So no, look, I think, you know, it's exciting times ahead over the next sort of 6 months as we see more and more calves hit the ground by the bull. Yeah, no, he's hit the ground running, that's for sure.
Oh, he certainly has, and you know, lucky for us when he came into the collection centre, he's been a phenomenal semen producer, high quality semen. He's adjusted to that quite well and been able to meet demand. We've been able to now put up some sex semen on the bull as well, so we've got female and male semen available on him as well. You're our resident tour guide at TLG. We've had lots of visitors there wanting to see Iceman over the last 12 months. Give us a bit of a report on the bull.
I think he's been overall widely well received. His structure has really stayed the way it was. His temperament is just phenomenal. That's the one thing that I pick up every time I go down there and have to deal with Iceman. He's just an absolute gentleman. One comment that is very regular with all breeders that have seen the bull is they just can't get over how much thickness he's got. You know, he's got some real dimension to him, and like I said, with the first calves that we've seen, you know, that I saw in Tassie a week or two ago, we're starting to see him already throw that through, so that's really, really exciting.
Yeah, I've spoken to Macca at Macca's Angus, and he just loves the calves they've got hitting the ground up there as well at Gloucester. They've been really impressive, and you know, they've probably got another 500 or 600 Iceman calves to hit the ground this spring. And then moving on to that, you know, they're going to be using, you know, well over 1,000 straws of him in their program this year. He's worked out really well for them as well, and also utilising the sex semen in their program as well. So John, with Iceman being such a great semen producer, we've got plenty of availability for this spring, both in conventional and sex semen. We're also going to be making Iceman available for commercial programs as well. So he'll be available at $50 for commercial producers this year as well, which should see a great demand for him again this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, we obviously were inundated early last spring with phone calls from commercial producers, and it was obviously difficult to keep everyone happy studding commercial with just the absolute demand that there was on the bull. But you know, now that we've got a little bit in front of us, I think it's really exciting to be able to open this bull right up to the commercial part of the industry and see what he can do, spreading his genetics across that part of the industry.
One of the newest additions to our team in autumn has been Ellingson Rangeland from Ellingson Ranch in North Dakota. He's a basin rainmaker son. John, he's been one of your favourites. You pushed pretty hard for us to bring this bull in. Give us a bit of a rundown why he's been so appealing to you.
Yeah, Nigel, I'm a massive fan of his pedigree. I think, you know, Rainmaker over the top of Remedy, over the top of Copal Advance. It's just a lot of consistency in terms of type, maternal, structure, and still really good growth and calving ease. You know, he just ticks a lot of boxes, and I was just excited. My main, I guess, area that I thought he could really make an influence in Australia is on the structural side. You know, there's obviously some pedigrees where we want to tidy some structural things up, particularly in the feet, and I really think this bull's going to be a great improver from that angle. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what he can do in the Australian herd, and I've been, you know, really pleased with the demand and the interest in the bull since we announced him in the...
Yeah, no, he's been widely accepted by breeders right across the country this autumn. And I think when you look at his combination, he's got the calving ease, good gestation length, lower birth weight. He's still got growth in the top 20% of the breed. The bull himself's got plenty of muscle and capacity. And, you know, like you said, his foot data, top 2% on angle, top 8% on claw here in Australia. And that data is based on over 100 records recorded in the US so far. So, you know, that's one of the key things a lot of our clients have been asking for and looking for, a bull with the phenotype, the structure, as well as some acceptable data, and he sort of ticks all those boxes really well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think the other thing, you know, we haven't mentioned so far is that pedigree. It's just that little bit different. You know, he's a bull that we can, you know, you can comfortably use over a number of cow lines. You can blanket him on a heifer program, you know, and you know that he's not going to be too closely related to anything in in the program generally. So that's exciting too for people that are looking for something that little bit different. And you know, I guess another exciting aspect has been, you know, his first yearling bulls at Ellingson sold this last autumn, and they were absolutely hot to trot. You know, sold up to 160,000, and they were jumping out of the stands to try and buy them. So it's really exciting to have this bull in Australia.
Yeah, there certainly was a lot of high demand at the Ellingson sale for his first yearling bulls to sell there this year.
Yeah.
So it just shows he's been widely accepted by the industry over there, and I think it's going to be the same here. So we've got great supply of rangeland going into spring. So contact John and myself if he's a bull of interest. John, Chiltern Park Quantum has been a bull that joined our team last year. Got over a little bit of a hurdle at the start, and semen production really kicked in to meet demand late last spring, and it's been phenomenal this autumn as well. Highly accepted by our commercial customers. They're chasing that short gestation length, the calving ease, the growth, positive fat. You know, he's been a very high demand beast mode son, backed by the Lawson's Invincible dam. You know, we see him fitting into a lot more commercial heifer programs this spring. You've seen the bull last week. What do you think of him? Yeah,
look, you know, he's a really attractive bull. He's really easy to deal with as well, temperament-wise, really great. And like you said, he's been widely accepted already in that commercial heifer space. And you know, like we're seeing more and more interest in him on the stud side as well in the heifer joining programs. I mean, I think you know, just that balance of data and a beast mode son with extra muscle. You know, you look at his EMA figure, it's that little bit higher than a lot of the beast mode sons out there, which has, I guess, piqued interest for a lot of people. And obviously coming out of that good Chiltern Park herd, you know, that has certainly not hurt him any at all either. So I'm really excited to see what this bull can do as more progeny hit the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. I expect we'll see quite a lot of progeny hit the ground this spring, and then next autumn, based on this year, it's going to be quite a lot as well. You know, touching on his data, you know, one of the key things that a lot of our customers have been asking for are these bulls with the shorter gestation length. And you know, being in the top 1% for short gestation length, he really ticks that box. Another exciting side, John, that's joined our team in the last 12 months has been Sit's Intuition. He's a Sit's profile son out of a JR 589 daughter. A lot of people might recognise the JR 589s. He featured very heavily in the Bennett Performer bull from a few years ago. He's a Sit's bull that offers growth in the top 10% of the breed. He's got some great carcass weight. He sits pretty good on his IMF as well. He's been heavily used in the Sits program last year as well. They're expecting over 100 calves to hit the ground this year. And what do you reckon of the Intuition bull?
Yeah, I must admit, Nigel, when I started with GA this time last year, he was one of the bulls that really piqued my interest. I've got a lot of respect for the Sits program, having toured that herd numerous times over the last 20 years, and you know, I think they breed cattle the right way, and you know, they're all about the fundamentals. So you know, a pedigree I like too. You know, the last time I toured Sits, those Jowra cows were some of the best that I saw, and having had you know, some I guess some use of the Monum Substantial line in my breeding program at home, you know, it gave me a lot of confidence in what this bull could do. The other thing that obviously gives anyone a lot of confidence is if Jim Sitz says I'm using this bull heavily, that means he's the right type of bull for today. So you know, I think he's a bull that offers a lot. You know, he's a growth bull. You know, it's not showing so much on breed plan right at the minute, but in the US, he's actually ranked very highly for fat. So it will be interesting to see whether that number shifts as time goes on out here. But he gives the impression of being a softer, easy-doing bull. So pretty exciting bull to have in the lineup.
John, in closing on Intuition, another bull where we've got great availability. We're working on getting some sex semen on the bull this year as well. Just to meet the demand for a lot of people wanting to use sex semen on a number of our bulls. So yeah, keep an eye out for some sex semen on Intuition as well this spring. John, New release sire, literally being released as this video is going to air, is our Kira Renegade, HF Alcatraz son. So one of the first bulls that we've had in our team that's got a bit of a Canadian influence in his pedigree. He offers some excellent calving ease and low birth weight growth, positive fat. From what I've seen of the bull, he looks pretty impressive structure wise. You've done a lot of work on this bull. You've been and seen his dam as well. Give us a bit of a rundown on Renegade.
Yeah, Nigel, he was a bull when he came on the radar, he was a bull I was really excited about. You know, he's obviously got that pedigree that's a bit different, being by HF Alcatraz, and luckily enough, having spent some time in Canada over the years, I sort of know the Longshaws at Bariel who paid $200,000 for Alcatraz to buy him from Hamilton Farms, and they rave about the bull. And then, you know, obviously on inspection, when I first got a look at this bull late spring last year, I was absolutely blown away with the bull. He's a calving ease bull with a magnificent wedgy front end, got a lot of dimension to him still. And you know, the thing that really impressed me was the soundness factor. You know, his feet are as good as I've seen on a young bull in quite a while, so that was really exciting to me. And then, you know, obviously we've done some research on the mother. She's a discovery cow who I'd rank up there as good as any discovery cow I've seen. And you know, I've come back from Tassie last week, seeing some great discovery cows at landfall, and you know, she mixes it with the best of them. So you know, and then our Kira actually owns the Grand Dam as well, and she's a H cow, still sound as a bell, raising big calves. So there's some real longevity in the cow family. I just think he's a bull that both stud and commercial, he's gonna suit a lot of people with that outcross pedigree, that real balance of data. And I'm just super excited to have him in the program this spring.
Yeah, no, it's very exciting to have him in there, and you know, there's been a bit of inquiry from people that know that the bull's going to be released, and we're pretty excited that as this video goes to air, it's when he's going to be available. So get in early on Renegade, and get your orders in for him this spring. One of our most high demand sires in the last 12 months has been Baldridge SR Goalkeeper. Probably the go-to Sidgeon enhanced son in the industry at the moment. He's out of a very nice Confidence Plus daughter, then back to the very famous Isabel Y69 cow from the Baldridge herd in Nebraska. John, Goalkeeper's just created a huge amount of demand. Progeny have sold well in the US. We've got some progeny just about to come up for sale here in Australia that have created quite a lot of interest, especially at Waitara Angus. Steve Chase has been very complimentary of the bulls he's got there as well. He just offers quite a lot of balance, the Goalkeeper bull. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, he's, as you said, he's got that really sound pedigree. The data set's phenomenal, obviously. You know, he's a bull that you can either use to accelerate your EBVs forward, or you know, on those older cows where you need a little bit of a lift, he'll do that in one hit well and truly. So you know, he's just a bull that ticks a lot of boxes, and you know, like you said, he's the one box that we were waiting to see ticked was how the progeny looked when they hit the ground in Australia, and he's really starting to create waves with the calves. So it's exciting to have Goalkeeper up and about this spring.
Yeah. Now the reports on the progeny's growth rates has been exceptional. Plus 25 on docility. They've been really happy with that as well. Good news is there's another shipment on the way, so there'll be plenty of supply of Goalkeeper available this spring. John, one of the most popular bulls, both for conventional semen and sex semen for us in the last 12 months, has been QHF WWA Black Onyx from Quaker Hill Farms. He's a black granite son, going back to Daybreak. You know, offers a phenomenal spread from birth to growth with calving ease. You know, commercial guys have really hooked into him just based on that calving ease, low birth weight, high growth. What are you seeing?
Oh, look, you're right, Nigel. I mean, I've seen a lot of calves last spring and then again this autumn. And, you know, the one thing that has been said to me by pretty much every breeder that I've spoken to that's used the bull is they're born small, but by the time they get to weaning, they're bigger than all the other calves. You know, they grow at an exponential rate. You know, the top 1% and 2% growth data is absolutely real, and the you know, that birth weight, low birth weight / calving ease, you know, well inside the top 10% is real. You know, so yeah, no, he's been an exciting bull for the lineup, and like you said, you know, stud guys have been strong on the bull, but commercial guys have just absolutely, you know, ripped into the bull and used a lot of semen on him and have been, you know, tickled with the results.
Yeah, they have been, and last year Alta Genetics gave him the title of an ultra fertility sire. So based on their data in the States, it showed that he's high conception rates compared to the average of the sires. From the feedback we've had from clients here in Australia, that's for real.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and I was going to say in some sex programs, I've spoken to guys that have used him in sexed, and the results they've been seeing with the sex semen have been, you know, as good as they've had. So it's exciting to have a bull like that with that sort of fertility in the program. You know, that guys can spend the money and get a really good result on. So
absolutely. You know, the feedback has been that, you know, high conception rates, guys have loved getting a lot of calves on the ground in that short calving period as well. So he's really suited for those sort of programs. One of the key things that I really like about the team of bulls we've got at the moment, John, is the diversity of the pedigrees. We've got a number of bulls that are pretty much outcrossed to a lot of the high use bulls over the last few years. And the team we've got now with their diverse pedigrees, you know, lots of application for those bulls to be used right across the country. One of the bulls that's really slotted into there has been Myers Fair and Square. He's a Woodhill Blueprint son. Another one of these sires where, you know, the short gestation length, the birth weight, the high growth, you know, it ticks all those boxes as well, backed by a strong maternal line. Yeah,
look, I mean, and that's the thing that I got really excited about when you started studying this bull a little bit. You know, that Myers program, you know, they really work on getting the fundamentals right. They're big on their cow families, and you know, they like to see fertility and longevity. And you know, his granddam is a prime example. She's a Keneally Onward daughter who's a bull I always love to see in a pedigree. She's held first service AI for 11 years straight. So you can't do much better than that. And you know, from my perspective, they're the sort of bulls that I want to see in our program, bulls that are going to breed that longevity and fertility into the cow lines.
Yeah, so John, as we said before, Fair and Square has been really popular. Another great attribute to him, he's been a great semen producer. We've got male and female semen available on him as well this spring, so just adding to that team of bulls where we've got the sex sorted semen available as well. So for anybody interested in conventional or sex semen on Myers Fair and Square, feel free to contact John and myself or any of the GA team. One of the new additions to the team last spring is a real heifer bull specialist in Waitara Quidditch, GAR Phoenix son out of a Dunoon Good Thing. He offers great calving ease, low birth weight with really good growth. He was purchased by Twin Oaks Angus from New Zealand and Wirran Angus from Western Victoria out of the Waitara sale last spring for $50,000. John, you've recently seen the bull. Give us a bit of an update on him.
Yeah, look, he's matured really nicely. He's another bull that's got a really magnificent temperament. I love the presence that he's got through. You know, like you get in front of him, he's got a good Angus head on him. You know, and he's got that magnificent laid-in shoulder. He's a proper calving ease bull. You know, really smooth through that front end. Smooth made through his, you know, as you go back as well, he's got that nice smooth muscle pattern. And you know, like we had a lot of people look at him while he was in stud, and they were really delighted with him. So
yeah, and you know, talk about an A-grade student. When he came into the collection centre, he just produced high quality semen from day one, and you know, high volumes, high quality. That's been reflected in some of the results. We've seen early results from AI programs. We've also put up sex semen on Quidditch as well, which will be available this spring. So if you're looking for a heifer specialist bull for a program this spring, reach out to us and we can get you some more information on Quidditch. One of the new young sires to join our program this year comes to us from the Tahama program. That's Tahama Testament. It's a young sire that combines a couple of our more popular sires over the past few years. John, he's got SS Niagara in his pedigree, he's got Sits Wisdom in his pedigree. Another bull offers great calving ease, a +2 birth weight, out to about 126 on growth, good EMA, good on the fats, very, very good on the feet EBVs as well. You've been a bit of a fan of Sits Wisdom.
Yeah, look, I was actually something I only looked up the other day when we had the Stony Point herd. I think we were the heaviest users of Sits Wisdom in Australia, and I fell in love with the bull when I saw him in the US a number of years ago and saw progeny at Sits, and in my opinion he's quite an underrated sire, and I think as time's gone on he's starting to get his ribbons a little bit more. You know, people are starting to see the absolute maternal power that he brings, and you know, he's popping up in AI sire pedigrees, but also you know, as an example, you know, the two-stage Stony Point dispersal, some of the top selling cows were Sits Wisdom cows, and then some of the top sellers were out of Sits Wisdom cows. So you know, it's just a pedigree that I'm really comfortable with from a number of angles, maternally, low birth, high growth, and you know, that soundness factor. So
yeah, certainly the soundness factor's there. He really packs that maternal punch, like you just said, with the Wisdoms. But then, you know, you get followed back on the top side, you've got Niagara there. You know, a lot of people that know us, we sold Niagara for the last couple of years. One of our big selling points on him was the maternal line behind him as well. Anyone been to Stuart Select Angus in the US and seen those cows there would understand why. There's people here now that have got Niagara progeny on the ground. He's been a heavy use bull, he's been a reuse bull that people have used because they've been so happy with him. And to have a bull that combines Niagara and Wisdom, gives you that calving ease, gives you that growth. It's really, really pleasing to have him as part of our team, and I think he's going to be a real popular sire this year. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight. John, that's a bit of a wrap up and a snapshot of some of our Angus sires we currently have available, the new bulls that are coming into our team. Like we said, we're really proud of the bulls we've got and the diversity in the pedigrees and the EBVs we have with those bulls. For more information on those bulls or any of our Angus sires, feel free to go to our new updated website, beef.genos.com.au. You can find our whole Angus team listed there. There's all the latest EBVs, there's videos on the bulls, there's progeny photos, and you also have the ability to order that semen online on there. John, one of the key things, take-home messages we want to send home to everybody tonight is get in and order early. Because last year lots of people missed out on bulls because they didn't order early enough. Ringing up when you're putting the seeders in is too late. So we strongly encourage everybody, get your orders in early, let us know when you want it, we'll get it there delivered on time, and don't leave it too late.
Hi, I'm Scott, the CEO at Angus Australia. This is just a brief message to encourage each of our members to go to our website or go to the Angus Weekly for the link and fill out our member survey, which is open till the end of the month. This year, through 2022, we're developing with the Board of Directors a new 5-year strategic plan for the breed going forward. We've had 11 Have You Say workshops around Australia and New Zealand, and we had a great attendance at those. We really thank you for coming along and presenting whatever information that you would have liked at the time. We got some great insights from that. We've had a lot of individual conversations, both directly to board members and to myself, so thank you for that. But right at the moment, we're just trying to capture everyone. Perhaps you didn't get along to a workshop, perhaps you went home and thought I needed to say this and didn't. We've got 3,700 members that are part of Angus Australia. We'd like to hear from as many members as we possibly can. So go online, find the link, it's a short survey, won't take you very long, but we'd really appreciate your comments, and it'll help us at our September board meeting to put together a great plan going forward so that the best years of Angus are ahead of us and not behind us. Thanks so much for your time.
This is the life. Relaxing out here. I wonder what the crew are doing at this time. probably doing that sketch for the Angus Bull Night. Thank goodness I'm not involved in that anymore.
520 metre par 5. That's got to be driver. Oh, who the hell are you?
I'm your conscience, FK.
Well, my conscience? I'm trying to play golf. Why are you even here?
Well, you see, you've got some water hazards over there, a nice line of trees, and some beautiful houses to your right. You've got quite an important shot coming up. I'm just here to make sure you don't shank it. Don't shank it. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
He's pulled it.
Oh, I've pulled it.
Oh, bloody hell, looks like I'm never going to get away from this ABS beef team.
Well, welcome to the 2022 Angus Australia Bull Night. I'm Fletch Kelly, I'm joined by Kim Hodder and Annie Pumper, and we are of course from ABS Australia Beef. Many thanks to Angus Australia for putting on the Bull Night for 2022, and it's a privilege, Annie, to be part of it.
Absolutely, Fletch, and a big congratulations to yourself for jumping into the Beef Product Manager role for ABS Australia Beef. Which means we have seen a change in role for Bill Cornell. As many know, he will be staying around now as a consultative role. He can't get rid of us that easy. So yeah, we're super excited to let everyone know that Bill will be staying on in 2023.
Yep, and that's pretty good that Bill is going to stay on and help us out as a team. So sit back, enjoy our talk about bulls tonight, grab some popcorn and enjoy.
Our first bull this evening really needs no introduction, and it shouldn't come as any surprise that it's Millamara Paratrooper P15. We're not going to spend a great deal of time on him tonight because ahead of spring, inventory demand is already insane on the bull, and we've all seen through our own eyes just how well he's breeding. One thing we will say though is that the quality of progeny that are coming through, not just at Millamara but across the country, has been absolutely exceptional. Not only has Paratrooper developed into a hugely successful bull in his own right, but his daughters and his sons are kicking massive goals as well. Millamara Rembrandt R48 sold for an astonishing $240,000 at last year's Millamara spring sale. If there is one resounding comment from anyone that's inspected the bull over the last 6 or 8 months, it's that, wow, he carries a heap of thickness. Not only does he carry thickness and an extraordinary muscle pattern, but he's incredibly athletic and very structurally sound. I really like the claw shape on the bull, and he's got plenty of heel depth as well. Taking a look at his EBVs, he offers a very versatile and balanced data set that should suit most breeding programs right around Australia, both commercial and seed stock.
The next bull on the menu is a bull that certainly hit the headlines in spring of 2021. He made an astonishing, record-breaking $280,000 at the Millamara sale in spring, and that bull is Millamara Rocketman R38. Rocketman is a bull that carries his weight so well. Upon assessment, Rocketman is a bull that certainly has a lot of eye appeal to him. He's extremely balanced, he's got that strength of spine, he's got that natural muscle ability that we want to see in our young sires. And above all else, he's extremely well set up on those feet and legs in all angles. And what an exceptional pairing in the pedigree of Rocketman with Capitalist on the maternal side and Paratrooper on the paternal side. We know that Rocket Man's going to go out there and possess what these two great sires have done for our industry, and the proof is in the pudding with the start of the Rocket Man calves on the ground at Millamurra, and aren't they just looking exceptional?
Alpine Real Deal R163. One of the more intriguing bulls I've come across at my time here at ABS. It's so rare to find a bull that combines such softness, compactness and balance for such a young sire. Just on phenotype and structurally, you would probably use the bull irrespective of his data. But it just so happens that Alpine Real Deal combines a wonderful data set with exceptional phenotype and structure. As a son of Rennie Lee Next Gen, out of a Tamania Longshot cow, Alpine Real Deal R163 should suit a lot of programs as a bit of an outcross. Couple this outcross and phenotypic performance with his EBVs. He's got a nice low birth weight, exceptional growth, moderate mature cow weight, and for a bull of such balance and style, to be sitting at 4 for IMF is pretty extraordinary. Real Deal's data is very much the real deal. At +4 for calving ease, a low birth weight of 3.7, out to 131, with a mature cow weight of only 99, +9.1 for EMA, positive ribbon rump, and +4 for IMF. Semen is going to be in hot demand this spring, so please let us know early if you want to use Real Deal.
An exciting US bull that I'm going to talk about tonight is Tahana Patriarch. He's a Niagara son who offers calving ease, growth, power and phenotype. He also offers a maternal pedigree with really good reports from the US on females not going anywhere. We have sexed cell female semen available along with conventional, and we're really excited to be able to offer sexed male sex cell semen for spring. Another bull that we all know really well is Bald Ridge Command, and he is going to also be available sex cell male for spring. Square B True North. I've been in love with this bull since he came to the shores of Australia. He offers calving ease, he has a beautiful, lovely structure about him, he walks like a cat, first calves that I've seen on the ground have been easy calving, but the rump structure on them are superb, and I'm really excited about to see how they grow out.
It's no secret that ABS are highly committed to providing high fertility bulls to the industry, and we're very excited that now with 80,000 conception results in our HCR program, that we have 2 new sires that have benchmarked at a gold. These 2 new sires that I'm going to talk about is Millamurra Coyote Q96 and Landfall Newground N90. Millamurra Coyote Q96 offers a very versatile and well-rounded data set, with a birth weight of +2.4 out to +7.8 for his calving ease, a moderate growth rate out to 113 for his 600 day, a huge scrotal at +3.1, 8.4 in his EMA, plus ribbon rump, and a docility score for +13. And the proof certainly is in the pudding. The Coyote calves are being born easy, they're being born with exceptional growth behind them, they're super quiet, and they're well balanced, and they've got a lot of carcass to them. The progeny reports at the moment are exceeding our expectations, and again, a bull that I know is going to leave a legacy for a very long time in the Angus breed. Coyote offers a maternal integrity like no other and is unsurpassed in the breed worldwide. Out of Brenda N8, a cow that I often describe as one of my top 5 favourite females in the Angus breed. Going back to Clooney, who we know is an incredible cow maker of the breed. Then we look paternally. Out of S Chisholm 255, backed by the Blossom 0278, you can't stack a pedigree more with something that is so dynamic and so great. Millamurra Coyote Q96, a bull that I often have to help people pronounce, but a bull we certainly don't want to be missing out on in spring of 2022. Landfall Newground N90. Sometimes you got to just sit back and think about how impressive this sire is. A bull where we released the new mature photo of him last year and has just taken the seed stock and commercial industry by storm. Let's hear from Frank Archer about what he has to say on the bull.
Newground N90 was a bull we selected for use in the Landfall herd as a yearling. His impressive phenotype, sire appeal and outlier performance, coupled with the fact that he comes from one of Landfall's highest quality female lines, the Elsa line, gave us confidence to use the bull extensively in our artificial breeding programs. He was then sold in 2019 to Absolute Angus and ABS Australia for a record Tasmanian price. We see New Ground bringing positives to a breeding program such as docility, length of body, width, depth and positive early growth. He's a really well balanced sire that is going to offer consistency of breeding.
New Ground certainly has had a lot of sale yard chat over the last couple of breeding season, and it's just been enhanced through the accuracies of his data that has been backed by his maternal integrity and the phenotype on the bull. If we have a quick look at his EBVs, a +4 for birth, a moderate calving ease, huge growth at 152 for his 600-day weight, an astonishing +7 for his scrotal size, a big EMA at +9.6, positive rib, positive rump, and an IMF that sits at +2.9 for the industry. As I said earlier in the segment, New Ground, Coyote, hot property this spring, high conception rate data is at gold, getting quick because they won't last long.
Sits Stella, 726D. Another one of those bulls that really needs no introduction tonight because we've all seen just how well he's bred right around the country. In many respects, Sits Stella is the meat and three veg of a good breeding program. He's become a household favourite right around Australia, and he's now known as Mr. Consistency. Not only has Stella stamped his progeny with so much mass, thickness, evenness of type and bone, but he's also excelling in his structural performance, which is reflective of the data that we see. Stella's structural EBVs are in the top 5% out here in Australia, and that is certainly what we see reflected in his sons and daughters. He has a nice low birth weight, plenty of growth, and plenty of carcass there as well. What's been interesting is despite Stella only hovering around the 1 mark for IMF, is just how many people have used him from right around Australia to inject some power and mass back into their progeny and get a little more Angus back into their Angus. We're building up a large inventory base for Stella this spring, but he will almost surely sell out. So again, please get in early with your orders. Now, one of the most exciting times for the night. There's a lot of seed stock producers on here watching on tonight, and I know that a lot of people will be eagerly anticipating what bulls we've got coming through at ABS this spring. So Annie and I are going to have a quick chat about 3 rippers that we've got coming to Australia.
So the first new bull on the agenda tonight is certainly one, Fletch, that you haven't shut up about over the last 3 months. That being Sits Dignity 599J.
Absolutely, Pumps, and I was so excited last year when we had the opportunity to bring Sits Resilient into the country, but this is a whole new level of excitement for me. Sits Dignity, a cracking resilient son that we're bringing in this year. You see, Pumps, Sits Dignity obviously is a resilient son, but get this, he's actually out of the record $160,000 Sits Barbara-Mere 59F, who, for those who enjoy their pedigrees, is the dam of the famous Sits Incentive Bull, who sold to JC Hiken & Sons at last year's Sits sale for a whopping $235,000. Now, Pumps, having a resilient son out of the dam of Sits Incentive is pretty crazy in itself. But take a look at this bull's EPDs in the States. You've got really good calving ease, plenty of growth, top 1% for his structural EPDs in the States, throw in a top 1% for his maternal index and top 1% for his ribeye area. This is going to be a bull that appeals to a lot of people around Australia. He's going to have a full page feature in our new side directory, so look out for him.
The next bull for the night certainly offers a pedigree that is well known to the industry with a data set to match. This is Woodhill's Comstock. Fletch, let us know about the bull.
Interesting bull, Annie. He's a bull that descends from KM Broken Bow on his top side. So he's a paternal grandson to Broken Bow, and he was a well-known and well-used bull out here in Australia, really known for stamping daughters with good udders, good teat placement, good feet, and really quiet temperament. The interesting thing about Woodhill Comstock is he's pretty much as moderate and thick and deep as they come. But interestingly, he also combines a pretty crazy data set as well. Taking a look at the bull's EPDs, he's got top 1% for his marbling, he's got really good growth and plenty of calving ease in there. Another interesting thing about Comstock is when you look at his degree of calving ease, marbling, muscle pattern, performance and mature size, he's actually currently unmatched in the US. So Pumps, another one of those really interesting bulls that you look at and you go, wow, just on pedigree and phenotype alone, I'd probably sample this bull this spring. But throw in those EPDs, including top 1% for marbling, and he could be something pretty special for the Australian industry, I reckon. So check him out in this year's spring directory. Well, our final bull for this evening's Angus Australia Bull Night, Pumps, is BAR Dynamic, another new US bull. Can you tell us a little bit about him?
Yeah, we're pretty excited to bring this bull out into Australia, actually, Fletch, and he's actually the paternal grandson of Basin Payweight 1682, which I'm sure a lot of our fellow breeders will know tonight, and he's certainly had an impact in various herds. His granddam, BAR Black Cap, is described by Jim Brinkley as one of the best females he's ever owned. This young bull has such a presence about him and is equally impressive on his US EPDs, starting with a huge calving ease and growth in the top percentiles, so a real curve bender, coupled with big docility, big milk, top 5% marbling, and to top it off, a ribeye that sits in the top 25% of the breed. So all in all, a bull that's going to offer dynamic data, dynamic phenotype, and appeal to so many Australian seed stock producers.
Well, that wraps up the 2022 Angus Australia Bull Night for ABS Australia.
Thanks for tuning in.
As you know, our core focus is to deliver profitability and sustainability for our Australian beef customers. And I believe the bulls we've put up tonight offer a lot of integrity, Annie.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more with you there, Fletch. As always, folks, please stay in touch via our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram or YouTube. And please look out into your mailboxes as the new beef directory is now out.
That's all, folks.
Neogen has been a long-term supporter of Angus producers and Angus Australia for nearly 3 decades, working with you on both research projects and also at a producer level with your individual goals. We bring you the new generation of technology, constantly evolving, to support you, whether you're a seed stock producer or a commercial producer. We're here to help you.
Our expertise is built on the dedication and knowledge of our staff who live and work in the rural community. Neogen is committed to developing the most comprehensive genomic testing solutions to help Angus breeders raise healthier animals and more productive herds. Whether you're a stud or commercial breeder, Neogen has genomic solutions to help reveal your herd's full genetic potential.
The Angus GS and Heifer Select tests use cutting-edge technology to help breeders get high-quality information to make better management and economic decisions. Discovering the genetic potential of your herd can lead to huge gains when selling genetically superior Angus cattle.
Samples from across the Asia Pacific region are processed in our new state-of-the-art facility located in Bundama, Queensland. We have a team of dedicated local territory managers well positioned across Australia who can visit you to discuss a long-term solution for your herd.
Neogen solutions aren't limited to genotyping cattle. Our diverse suite of DNA testing solutions extends beyond cattle, including bovine, ovine, porcine, canine, and more. Our range of products and services has grown immensely in recent years, and we expect this to continue with our genomics, animal safety, and food safety operations now all under one roof.
Neogen is here with you every step of the way. From the paddock to the dinner plate, we have solutions the whole way through. Our dedicated teams want to ensure that your goals are achieved, no matter how big or how small. If you want to get started, give us a ring. We're always here to help.
Thanks for joining us on the Agri-Gene Spring Angus Bull Night of 2022. We're on top of the world about this year's lineup of bulls and can't wait to get in them, so there'll be no mucking about. Grab yourself a beer, coffee, or your favourite cocktail, copy of the latest Agri-Gene catalogue, and let's get into it. We're going to kick off with a bull I know you're pretty keen to hear about, Quarterback. He's a bull that saw unprecedented use last spring, and we've got a heap of semen on board for this year, and we're pretty pumped about what he's going to do. We've got progeny on the ground, and I'll have some footage for you coming up towards the end, so stay tuned tonight. Quarterback's going to have a big feature right at the end. Mujanilla Cornella, a bull we purchased with Rennie Lee and Pathfinder last spring, who topped the sale up there. He's come down here to the Western District and he's performed really well for Nick Moyle at Pathfinder. Bull stands up with a great lot of heel underneath him. He's a thick bull, moderate frame, and also, you follow that data along, he's got a moderate mature cow weight, extremely moderate on that mature cow weight. And also, Nick and I went up to Mujanilla and had a chance to view this mother. We also saw the grandmother and the great-grandmother. All three of these cows are still in production there, and some of them, particularly the great-grandmother, was in calf to AI. I'm pretty excited about this cow. She's the sort of cow that I think those guys that think about their moderate mature cow weight and their ideal Angus cow, this is the cow they think about in their dreams. She's a cow that offers a lot to the breed, and we're excited to have a son out of her that can really go forward and take those progressive breeders up to date on their performance while still carrying a heap of phenotype and thickness. Another youngster we added to our ranks this autumn from the Dunoon sale at $90,000 was a bull we called Recharge. Pretty pumped up about this L519 son that offers a lot from calving ease, growth, and an elite carcass package in a phenotype I think a lot of breeders can sink their teeth into. We'll hear from a couple of the guys that purchased this bull and what they've got to say and why they're using the bull in their herds. We're here at Nearon Park with Rob Costello. Recently purchased a bull, Dunoon Recharge with Cluny Range. I just thought I'd ask you quickly, what were your thoughts on the bull? What really appealed to you to make the purchase of that big time?
Well, what we liked about him was he had sort of the complete package. So he had the pedigree, he had the data set, and he also had the phenotype that we look for. So we're a real believer in phenotype. So our foundation traits are always fertility, temperament, and structure. The bull's got that in spades, but he's got the data set to back him, and that's what we really liked about him.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Rob.
No worries.
Now we're into a bull, Rennie Lee Prospect P550. He's a bull that we had on the back burner for a couple of years, but he's come back to the fray now, and you'll see some progeny start to pop up in some sales. We talked to Brett Guest at Cluny Range with a couple he's got in his sale, and we can hear from him now. We're here at Cluny Range. We've just had a bit of a nighttime bull tour of some of the bulls in the sale, and we managed to come across a couple of bulls by Rennie Lee Prospect. He's a bull that's pretty young in the job, but there is a few progeny around. I see you've got a couple of bulls here, and you must have more in the paddock.
Yeah, we're really happy with them actually. There's a couple in the sale, but one in particular, S297, we think is probably one of the better bulls in the entire draft. Just got that real presence about him. He's got a beautiful head. He's clean underneath, and as you saw, structurally, he's really hard to bolt. But the thickness in him, that's the thing that was really appealing. And all the calves, we identified him early. We thought he was something breeding really well. So we've used him heavily in some flush programs and through AI as well. I just think he's offering at this stage, as you said, it's early, but he's really promising to us. He's fitting in really well with our breeding program, and we'll continue to use him.
Yeah, no, I was impressed with the thickness of the calves I saw here today, and the long-sided sort of cattle and excellent structure. So
temperament's great too.
Temperament's no, that's good. That's good. No, thanks, Brett. It's good to get your insight.
No worries.
But this prospect bull really offers a lot to the industry when you think about positive fat and frame score. This bull's a big bull. He might even nearly be pushing a frame 7 with a set of feet that look like they're molded out of clay, and you can see them here. I really rate this bull. He does a couple of things really right for us, and he's a bull that's really usable across the board. So he adds frame, awesome feet, soft, easy doing cattle. That's a combination that's pretty hard to find. The temperament's really good on this bull. We've recently had a lot of interest in New Zealand, and there's some semen headed that way as soon as we can get it over there. So Rennie Lee Prospect is a bull that probably hasn't come across your desk yet, but he will. Now let's jump into some of our Y69 derivatives. We'll start off with Cluny Range Plantation. What an absolute meatball of a bull with awesome feet and a phenotype to die for. We really rate this bull. He's been a really high seller for us, and he offers a lot. So we'll chat to a few breeders and bits and pieces on this bull, and then I can let you know what I really think and how to use this bull. We've just popped into Holbrook Breeders to have a look at a bull Clooney Range plantation, and I'm here with Lane Evans from Holbrook Breeders. Lane, the bull's been here for about 12 months now, I suppose, and he was mustered up near the territory border with a couple of helicopters to get him here. How's he been to handle since he's been here?
He's been light. I haven't needed a helicopter yet, so no, he's a pleasure to have here, Rob. He really is. He's great temperament, easy to handle, love a scratch, as you can tell, and just makes everything easy for us here at Holbrook Breeders. Collects plenty of good semen and behaves himself. So
yeah, that's good. And the rumour is you got a bit of a nickname for him around here. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so the girls and I, we come up with a nickname. He gets his pen name's Fat Ted around here. So as you can see why, he's a big teddy bear and he's pretty easy doing. So.
And Fat Ted turns up on your shore, you know who you're getting. So yeah, this is plantation. He's made plenty of good semen while he's been here, and yeah, we look forward to what this bull can do in the future. So we're here with Rob Costello, and we've just had a look at some young plantation calves. You've got yearlings, yearling bulls, and some heifers as well. You've also got some steers, or involvement in some steers you've seen. Tell us a little bit about the plantation progeny that you've got and how you see them shaping up.
Yeah, so we used plantation initially actually in our embryo program. We used him over a variety of cows, but the ones that have really worked the best for us have been out of an EFC complement Timonierator daughter, and they've been exceptional. They were the top in their contemporary in the males and the females. Very impressed with their temperament, a lot of body in them, structurally sound, and very big scrotal development in the bulls at a young age. So they're very impressed with him, and we'll go on again and use him this year as well in some more ET work, but also generally in the herd. I think he'll work over a lot of our sort of bigger cows, our aiders and our elevators, but we've also got some realities that we'll put him in there just to reinforce some traits that he's got as well.
I think the bull offers a lot of depth, thickness, softness. The temperament's good, the feet are good, there's big scrotal on what we've seen.
Yeah.
So it's a good future for him, and I think you're on the right track. So
yeah, no, very, very happy to be using him again this year.
So you'll have another go at him this year then?
Yeah, definitely. We're actually just carving another flush at the moment. We got a very good result, very good conception rates with our flushing, and they're actually out of a Te Wharetoa region Ingai 469 cow.
Yeah, right.
So it should be a really interesting mix, that one too.
No, excellent. Thanks for your time, Rob.
No worries.
So you've heard from a few folks across the country about plantation. What a champ he is and a great bull to deal with. We look forward to seeing what he can do in the future and these calves that are coming on now. A high use bull for us, particularly in commercial herds as well. He offers a lot for everyone around the globe. Thickness, softness, moderate frame score, and really good feet. It's the thing we've all been looking for, and look at that temperament on him. What a teddy bear he is. So plantation is a bull I think we can all have some confidence in, and I'm pretty excited about him. Let's jump into Pacific. He's a bull saw a heap of use last spring. First calves are on the ground now, and we're getting calls on the weekly about this bull and how good these calves are from breeders around Australia. Just here at Prime Angus, we've had a look through some Sterling Pacific and some Eyes on You calves. I'm here with Colin. Colin, these calves are pretty handy. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, they're good. We've used Sterling Pacific very heavily, and Eyes on You, and for two bulls that we've used, they're so consistent. They're only about 4.5 months old now, but for calves so consistent, you can see they're going to have weight in them, but it's the type of animal itself, the depth and the thickness, and when you look at some of the other calves, they just stand out. You can just pick them. You don't even have to look for numbers. You just walk up and you'll say that's a Sterling Pacific. Read their number, bang, spot on, and Eyes on You. And for consistency of what we're looking for in cattle, that's what we look for. We're not looking for, say, joining 100 cows and we're going to finish up with 50 really good calves. We're after consistency where you're going to get up right in your 90s all the time for your heifer replacements coming to your herd. And these two bulls that we're using, Sterling Pacific and Eyes on You, we reckon they're going to be right up there. Like I reckon Beast Mode was probably one of the best ones that we used, and I reckon these blokes are going to be right up there. And it's so strange that they all go back to that Isabel family. It's just amazing.
Now she's an awesome cow.
Yeah.
I noticed you said too these calves they're all really black too, aren't they?
Yeah, they just you get when they're young, you get a bit of a tinge in their a redness in the hair, but these don't. They're just black. You just look for the black calves,
Yeah.
and that's what you come.
Yeah, right.
And that's what you'll found
Yeah.
when we're walking around today.
Yeah,
Have a look at.
There's a lot of depth in these calves and still a fair bit of softness. They're pretty soggy, sappy looking calves, so pretty excited about them. Have you used him? So you used him last year to get calves now, and then you've used him again?
We're using Surly Pacific. Well, by the time we get through this season and next season, we'll have used him in about 5 joinings.
Yep.
They are. My opinion is what we're seeing now. They are so good. We're not going to stop. We're just going to keep using him, and get as many as we can, and then we'll really run out across. He's good. You think you're starting another foundation line. With how heavy we're using him.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty confident that he's going to do the job for us.
Yeah, awesome. No, thanks very much, Kyle.
No, right.
Good on you.
Thanks, Rob.
Good on you.
Right.
This is a bull, I think, if you haven't used any of those Y69 sons or daughters or derivatives of, he's a bull you can jump into. No doubt on the top side, brings a heap of growth, still got the birth in check, pretty handy carcass data, feeder where you need them. This is a bull that really offers a lot, and we're seeing it. It was just like Beast Mode when he first came out. There was calls and calls about how good the calves were. So we think this bull can do a very similar job. Get a good look at this bull, e.g. eyes on you. There's calves on the ground, and they are dead set thick already. We saw some bulls in the US as well, and they're thick, got power, got bone, got flank. This bull brings a bit of birth to the table, and if you're worried a bit about mature cow weight, maybe turn the page. But if you want to breed real Angus cows and real Angus bulls, get a look at Eyes on You. He brings pretty good feet from what I'm hearing. Really thick cattle. I think they're still soft for the amount of growth he's got. He's still carrying some softness, and I really think this bull adds a lot. Like if you want to even breed some typier, fancier sort of cattle, I think he can do that as well. He's pretty cool bull to get amongst, and we've seen some calves, and yeah, I think watch this space. This bull's going to do something big. If you're looking to put some spread in your cattle and maintain that bone and phenotype, check out Paint Rock Trapper. Bull that sort of has been off the radar a little bit, but we're looking to see these progeny now, and we'll chat with Ian Vivers at Eaglehawk, see what he has to say about his.
I think his legacy will be the female side of the things. The bulls are well made, and they've got a good ratio of bone to meat, and so they certainly are put together well. Out of the bigger cows, though, they're probably a little bit big for me.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, if you wanted a herd lifter, if you wanted to lift a bit of framing, they'd certainly do that job.
They do carry a bit of style too, though, a bit of presence. They seem to.
They're attractive cattle.
Yeah.
They've definitely got eye appeal. And the females, the females do have that eye appeal, pretty type cattle, but they've still got an arse end on them that you're looking for. They're thick. So that's probably what. As I said, that'll be the legacy that he'll leave for us, which I'm really pleased about.
Yeah. Excellent. Thanks for your time, man.
No worries, Ron. Okay.
Appreciate it.
Very good.
This trapper bull is starting to pop up with progeny in a few different locations across Australia. He offers a pretty cool spread and some bone and phenotype we've been looking for. You've probably heard me talk about SS Brickyard before, but seriously, guys, don't miss this bull. If you're a commercial guy or trying to breed bulls to sell, this bull will flat get it done. He's thick, he's good at ground level. He will fix feet. He's probably not a miracle worker, but he will tidy up some claw. And he's quiet, and he puts a spread on cattle like you have not seen, and it'll just make those type of bulls that you'll put in your bull sale, and they'll sell that $1,000 above sale average all day long. I rate this bull highly. Here's a new bull we've just added this spring, EB Wildcat. New bull, heaps of performance. Have a look at his package there. Really sets you up, birth, growth, and carcass data, and brings it all in a pretty nice phenotype package. Look at the muscling in this bull. So get a look at him. He's got some ancestors that we know a little bit about, brings some good things to the table, good foot scores as well on this bull, and there's been some use already here in Australia, so don't miss out on this guy to bring up some sons coming forward. Did you miss out on Stunner because he didn't have enough performance for you? This bull, Iconic, has heaps of performance. Oozes phenotype, and we're seeing heaps of use in the US. Like, he's one of their highest use bulls for this year and last year running. He's really seen limited use here. So he's going to be a different bull for a few people, and he probably needs a little bit of protection at ground level, but what I'm seeing from pictures I've seen of the dam and the bull himself, he's probably around average. But huge marbling in the US at a 1.65, which puts him clearly in the top 1%. He's quite good here at 3.5, but offers that growth and stuff that you look for, as well as a thick, soft, look at that flashing in this bull, and a really chunky sort of dude to really get into. I think Iconic's a bull we've probably looked past a little bit, maybe a bit nervous, but I think we can start hooking in with a bit of confidence, and we'll see calves here on the ground that I have seen, and we're just waiting for them to come of age to get some footage of them to get to you. Now we'll jump into a couple of proven Aussie performers from Chiltern Park, Picasso, and the well-renowned Mo. Old Mo, there's not much we can say about this bull that hasn't already been said, but what a champion he's been. With over 2,000 progeny, this bull provides a lot of consistency and should give breeders a lot of confidence. If you didn't use much Mo, and you're looking for a little bit more performance, have a look at this young bull, Picasso. Progeny on the ground, people are really happy with how they're performing, and he brings a little bit more shape to the program, and excellent spread on data and awesome carcass. Pretty proud bull, and this maternal line has proven really well for Chiltern Park and will do into the future. Let's run through our edge team for 2022. First up, 44 Brigade, a casino bomber son with a really cool look to him and a heap of muscle in that rear third, extreme growth, outstanding EMA and solid IMF. A standout individual with a high docility rating in the US and elite indexes. Have a look at this bull, Sith Spectrum. A bull that Gen X added to their lineup last year after the December sale where he sold for over $40,000. We couldn't resist but to add him into ours. He's just got his Aussie data, and what an awesome spread he's got there. But have a look at this bull as an individual, as an exclusive son that goes back to the Sith Donners, provides a bit of an outcross pedigree for most, and a pretty cool phenotype to go with it. This next fella, Mandaean Reebok, is no secret. He's a bit of a favourite of mine, and unfortunately we can no longer offer this bull on edge, as he was probably one of the top 5 quickest bulls to sell out on his edge allocation for us at Agri-Gene. He's a bloody ripping individual with a heap of muscle and shape, a real strong traditional Angus head on him, good at ground level, and moves around like an absolute cat. Love this bull's thickness, and I think he mates well over a lot of traditional Agri-Gene pedigrees and also many others. He's about a 5'8" frame, a V muscle, and just a tank of a bull. Go study a bit further, have a look through his cow family, and that pedigree runs deep right back to a list of productive cows at Millamurra. And I think he's a bull that really sets us up well going forward. If you need to add a little bit of thickness and not sacrifice anything else, this Reebok bull is a no-brainer. If you're chasing something a little bit different this spring, this next bull might be for you. Albert of Stern, a New Zealand bull we come across last spring that we really like the look of. Deep body and all those traditional things we like about most of those Kiwi bulls that have come here in the past. Deep, thick, and really good feet, good temperament. Albert of Stern could be something different. He's a few common ancestors in his pedigree, but he also provides plenty of depth on that dam side that we like to see. Really no holes sort of from a performance standpoint either, this fella. Not a heap of growth, but good calving ease and good positive fats. This Albert of Stern is a pretty balanced sort of a bull with no real extremes. If you're looking to breed close to the line, here's your bull. Just a couple more bulls to get through. Have a look at this bull, Bald Blair phenotype. Absolute standout individual himself. And then these calves that we're seeing come up at Mandaean this year, that's yearlings, that'll be in next year's bull sale, are absolute stonkers. They're up against some other elite AI size in the industry, and I think these phenotype calves are going to outdo them. They have got long bodies, extra muscle, and a really siry look to them, and you can pick each calf by their head, just in the mob. This bull's going to offer a lot more than just marbling, so make sure you check him out. And I think when you do, you'll have to use some. We're at the pointy end, and we promised you footage of quarterback progeny. And here they are. Have a look at them. I've seen these progeny at 3 or 4 different places, And what really stands out to me is consistency's number one. And then they bring some frame, body depth, and softness, which is pretty interesting when you have a look at the carcass performance on this bull. This quarterback bull is a real exceptional individual when it comes to maternal attributes. Now, we've never really been able to say this about a carcass bull before. So get into him, because I think he offers a huge amount for everyone across the board. He's a really easy bull to mate when you think about how his frame and his softness and then his performance data as well. So he mates really well on these compact type cattle that are short fronted and maybe thicker made, because you can stretch them out and clean them up through the front, and then you'll still put some depth and softness into those harder types, if you like. You can mate him wherever you like, because I think he's going to work anyhow you use him. We've never been able to talk about a carcass bull like this that's had so much maternal attributes. We're here at Glen Park with Sinclair Munro and looking at some Burra bulls here. We've actually come across a few quarterback progeny there you got in this sale coming up. So you've used him a few times. How's that bull working out for you, Sinclair?
Yeah, our quarterback's been a good bull for us, bred very well. And we did a bit of research before we used him, of course, and know Lockie Wilson very well. He's got a good herd in Victoria, and Chris McElroy identified the bull as a young bull with the genomics and the pedigree, and we're looking for a bull that had a good carcass attributes to high marbling, because a lot of our customers going to the feedlots to the high-end market. Yeah. But we also needed a bull that had good growth and structural soundness, so that's really attractive to the bull.
Yep. Yeah, we've seen him as a real box ticker for us, and he's worked well for a few clients, so we're pretty happy with how he's working out. The bulls here look pretty good. You've used him again this year?
Yeah, so we used him the first season and then second season, and we'll use him again this year again. He works well with our herd, like our herd have got good thickness and good shape about our cattle, and he's added some stretch but keeping the shape in the cattle, and great thing is the good marbling and structural soundness.
Yeah, no, I think he mates well on those moderate compact sort of cattle, and stretches them out, cleans them up. He does a really good job for us there. These couple of bulls you've got in the sale coming up, pretty handy looking fellas.
Yeah, first quarterbacks are off, and we're very excited to sell them, and I'm sure that they'll go into some leading herds. Some very good judges out there will buy them.
I'll find them, I think. Sinclair, thanks very much.
Thanks, Rob.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us this evening. I know it's a jam-packed night full of a lot of information, but there are some key takeaways. And we're really pumped up about what this quarterback bull is doing. Feel free to contact myself or Chris or any of the Agri-Gene team to get the information you need for this coming up joining season. We think it's really important that you know the most you can about these bulls so you can use them correctly. If there was a perfect bull, I wouldn't have a job. So give us a call, phone, text, email, Facebook, whatever you like. We'll be in touch as quickly as we can and help you get the right information to make the right mating choices this spring. There are some other products that we offer too to help you increase your conception rate, like a Fertility Plus, which is a mineral that we offer. Give us a ring about that. And also we can help you through dialing up your program to try and get the most out of those things. One last thing I wanted to touch on was Agri-Gene, an Australian family-owned company, been in business for more than 30 years. In fact, we're pretty proud of, and we think this holds us in good stead going into the future. Once again, feel free to contact us for any information. We'll be happy to help. Good night.
Hi, I'm Shane Twist, and I'm the host of the Angus Australia podcast, Behind the Beef. Behind the Beef gives you a look behind the scenes and into the everyday activities of the people, the programs, and the passion that brings consumers the end product, premium quality Angus beef. In my humble opinion, if you're a beef cattle enthusiast and you haven't already listened, you're missing out. The podcast has something for everyone, from interviews with industry professionals covering topics such as the best tips for AI this joining season, to episodes covering marketing Angus Cattle 101 and breakdowns of Angus Australia's industry-leading programs like the Angus Sire Benchmarking Program and Angus Verified, to how to interpret an Angus sow catalogue and the influence of Angus genetics in northern production systems. The podcast focuses on highlighting the relationships and opportunities of Angus Australia and the programs within the society, our members and the wider beef industry, and gives a voice to the people and the roles they play not only within Angus Australia, but the wider Angus and beef community. Listen to the podcast today where you get your podcasts, and make sure while you're there to subscribe to be the first to listen to all the latest and upcoming episodes of Behind the Beef.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome from Semex Beef. My name is Brad Gilchrist, Semex's Beef Marketing Manager, and together with Cameron Cutler and the rest of the Australia Semex team, we are thrilled to be a part of the Angus Australia Spring Bull Night once again. We appreciate you taking the time to hear about our offering, and please do not hesitate to reach out afterwards for more information or any follow-up questions you may have. Semex Beef is proud to offer Angus genetics selected for a balance between phenotype and genetic data. We are producers too, and we know the importance of structural soundness, docility, and overall power and mass play when it comes to marketing seed stock genetics and calves to the commercial world. We have a vast lineup and something to fit every producer's needs. And with that, let's get into it. One of the bulls we're extremely excited about to speak with you tonight is Pineview Mogul G241. Mogul is an absolute standout from a phenotypic standpoint. This bull is extremely long-spined. He's a bull that carries that thickness up over his top line and down through that lower quarter with a huge stifle muscle. When we set this bull in motion, we don't let that muscle mass restrict his movement, and he travels about the pen with ease. He sets down on an extremely good foot, straight clawed, great set of feet and legs, a bull that just is really, really impressive when we look at the overall mass and capacity that he has, and combined with that data set that Cameron's going to talk about here shortly. You know, I think we see a lot of this phenotypic standout on this bull coming from the dam on the maternal side of his pedigree, tracing back to the great Isabel Y69 cow. This Reno son is one that is going to be extremely popular for us, and one that we feel is going to offer Angus breeders across the globe a great deal of attributes and opportunity.
Pineview Mogul has already created plenty of interest in this past joining season in the south for many reasons. The first of many would be that he's sired by Spring Cove Reno, which goes back to Broken Bow. So for the blokes that missed out on Geddes, this fella was the good fit to take over from him, and we think that he's going to do that going into the future. But on the bottom side, he's out of that Isabel cow that goes back to Y69. So a pretty well stacked pedigree. But then we've got the phenotype and we've got the performance that is also appealing. Again, a bull, a calving ease bull, low birth and high growth, but has something to offer at the other end with an EMA in the top 1% at plus 13.3. But I think what really attracts people to this bull is those foot scores that are both in the top 5%. Index is all in the top 1% as well. Pretty easy bull to use from those who have already tried him, and we're looking forward to see what he does in the next few years. Up next, we have Montana Elevation, a bull that's starting to make his mark in the Angus breed. Reports from both stud and commercial producers have been positive. The Elevation daughters have been well received and have been of exceptional quality. And there's a lot of talk that the sons are going to have no problems making bull sale catalogues over the next few years. As we've got more progeny on the ground, we've seen an improvement in his performance data. His calving ease has improved, his birth weight has lowered, and his growth has increased. Pay particular attention to his 2-4-600 day weight, his EMA, and his indexes. A bull that has a lot of potential going forward, and a bull that should be on a few people's lists this year. We're here at Bull Oak Well to get an overview on the Montana Elevation progeny. We're joined by Heath Nichols, the principal here, and tell us a bit first about Bull Oak Well, and you're starting to get a reputation in the southeast here for your bull sales, but just give us a bit of overview about Bull Oak Well and the direction you're taking.
Well, yeah, so we run about 250 registered cows here at Pinaroo, and probably, I guess it's a drier climate than the southeast, but harder country, lower rainfall. But we're probably producing an animal that an efficient animal that will finish easily on grass or grain, and just with that mid-maturity pattern, I guess, and cattle that'll do and thrive here. And I guess we sort of work on if they thrive here, they'll thrive anywhere. So, but yeah, just that mid-maturity pattern and we like to think that the cattle have got a bit of a shape and capacity and constitution to them, and I don't know, we're pleased with I guess the direction we're heading, the positive feedback on the type of cattle I guess we are breeding, which is positive, I guess. Yeah.
Well, very good. So Montana Elevation, how did you come to decide on using him, and how have you applied him here in your herd?
So I guess we didn't obviously know how he was going to breed because there was no obviously progeny, but we probably used him in that use him over those longer cows and had a bit more frame, and we thought he's going to have that sort of good mid-maturity pattern, but he's bred. Yeah, the cattle are long, as you'll see in the photos and the videos of them. They're long cattle with great spines and a lot of shape and muscle in them, and functional type of cattle, I reckon. So.
Yeah, and we looked at the heifers and bulls earlier, and they seem to be really consistent, which is probably the making of a good bull. We want to see consistency, and we certainly saw that here today.
Yeah, that's it. We did. Obviously we haven't got 50 or 100 of them, but I think we've got a dozen recorded progeny, and the 6 heifers will be mated and kept in the herd, and the 5 bulls will be 5 or 6 bulls will be in the sale, I would suggest. So there's consistency there, and that's what we want. We don't want a bull that's going to breed a superstar and the rest of them cows. There's too much wastage in those sort of cattle, and I reckon he's a bull that will give you that consistency of type. That's what we're all about, isn't it? So.
Yeah, no, that's it. So, very good. Thanks for having us, and well done on your elevation progeny.
Oh, thank you.
New to the catalogue this year has been Dessous Renegade, an exciting son of Post Maverick that looks set to follow in his father's footsteps. Thick made, moves well, and really carries that thickness and depth of body throughout. The exciting part about Renegade 2 is probably the balance that he carries through his performance data. Again, a bull that's the low birth, high growth spread, a low mature cow weight with calving ease, and the added benefit of EMA and IMF for those that are seeking that. Carries those indexes all in the top 4%, so overall a really complete bull.
Another new bull that I'm excited to introduce to you tonight is Dessous Renegade C212. This is a Post Maverick son, and one that we're extremely excited about. This is a bull that's got an abundance of rib shape and depth of capacity, a bull that's got an abundance of muscle shape and lower quarter and shape down through that twist, a bull that carries that thickness up over his top line extremely well. And we analyze the head structure on this bull. He's extremely wide through his eyes and wide muzzled. This is a bull that's going to be very easy fleshing and carry on the Post Maverick tradition of increased marbling and doing so with an added phenotypic look to those cattle. This is a bull that I think is going to be able to be used in a variety of different programs. He's extremely docile and moderate in stature, creating those kind of females that are going to be more moderate in terms of the mature cow weight, and certainly a bull that I think's got a lot of a future too from a structural integrity standpoint.
Hard outlier. This bull, if I had $1 for every time someone commented on his picture or video, I'd be a millionaire. Hard outlier is long, deep and wide, but does so on sound feet and legs. A bull that certainly appeals to those that really want to breed some serious phenotype into their cattle. His dam was a great cow at Hearts, and he's sired by Haynes outright. Again, a long bull himself, carries that length, depth and thickness. But outlier's just not all show and no go. He's got some serious performance behind him as well. Below breed average birth weight and the 2, 4, 600 day weight all in the top 6% means this fella's not only going to look the part, but he's going to breed the part into his progeny. And if you're looking to add a little bit of scrotal, this fella's probably going to do that too with a 42.7 actual and 3.1 on EBVs.
One of the proven bulls that we want to talk to you tonight about is Heart Outlier 7033. Outlier is a bull that's physically imposing from a mass standpoint. This is a bull that's got a really nice Angus head on him with a really wide muzzle, and he really translates that wide muscle right through the rest of his body. This is a bull that's extremely stout pinned. He's stout over his top line. He's a bull that's bold and robust through that rib structure. He's easy fleshing. When we set this bull in motion, he travels out extremely wide on a good set of feet and legs. This outcross bull is something that I think a lot of Angus producers can use to be able to bring in some different genetics, maintain that overall mass and capacity that we're looking to add into these Angus cattle, and still maintain a really healthy data set that this bull possesses. Again, a bull that's just really an abundance of mass and power and overall muscle thickness.
Up next, we have the big boy of our catalogue, Riverbend Upgrade. For anyone seeking some serious horsepower, you couldn't look past Upgrade. Top 1% for all growth, top 1% for carcass weight, and at the pointy end for IMF, but does all that in a real quality phenotype. His dam is an exceptional cow, and we reckon the sons and daughters of this bull will have some serious potential.
We're here at Claremont Angus, just having a look through the Riverbend Upgrade calves with Graham and Liz Glasgow. Tell us a bit about Claremont Angus and how you guys started and where you are today and what you're trying to achieve as a stud.
Well, we bought the place in 1932. We started breeding Angus in 1940. The cattle that we try to produce are tough Angus cattle that will grow on and meet a lot of markets.
Oh, that's very good. And so Riverbend Upgrade, how did you come to select him to use in your program?
We like the growth figures on Riverbend Upgrade. I liked the shape of him. He's top 1% of the breed for his 200, 400, 600 day weight in his carcass. And top 15 for his intramuscular fat, which is very unusual. Usually they're not like that, but we were pretty happy with that, so we thought we'd give him a go. We haven't had to pull any calves from him, and one good thing is all the calves are very even. They're only probably 2 months old now, but they're all even calves. Quite a lot of the AI bulls, you get calves all over the place, but the Riverbend Upgrade are all very even calves.
Very good.
Good consistent breeder.
Yeah.
And high conception, you said that
high
you had...
conception rate, we bought 25 straws and we got 20 calves, so that's 80%. So we're very pleased with the conception rate. And all the calves have been really consistent. So what we're all about is docility. We like quiet cattle. They've got to have good feet before we'll even look at any potential AI size. So, no, very pleased with the Riverbend calves.
No, we've poked around this morning and they're behind us now, and overall the herd's got a focus on that docility, and hopefully Upgrade will continue to leave that mark as well. So, very good. Thank you for your time, and congratulations, and the calves look really good.
Thank you. Thank you, Cameron.
Mock Specialist. Favourite of mine and a favourite of many commercial and stud producers right across Australia. Certainly making his mark in the commercial world, being of a low birth and high growth balance, but really stamping some phenotype into the progeny. We expect the steer progeny to be pushing the scales down, and we're seeing a big run of them go through Hamilton in January next year. But the quality of the daughters that this bull's going to leave will be second to none, and I think that's why commercial producers are gravitating towards Specialist. It's also backed with a really good pedigree that includes 38 Special, one of the hottest bulls in Australia at the minute, and now the Mock Ruth cow, who's a real quality individual in her own right. Specialist just doesn't fit the commercial mould though. He has a really good opportunity to impact the stud herd as well.
We're here at Delunda Farms with Jason Sonder, who's the principal of Delunda Farms, and Grace Elsom, who's the manager overseer. We've just had a drive through the Specialist calves on the commercial cows here, on mainly first calving heifers. So just first of all, Jason, tell us a bit about Delunda Farms and your operation as a whole.
Delunda Farms, we're a fourth generation family farm based in Wombaleno in the West Wimmera, and we're a mixed farming business with cattle, cropping and sheep. So 3 years ago, we've moved down to Macarthur here at this pretty good property here, and we've got our cattle herd here at Macarthur, and we've built it up to a 250 breeding head. So,
and you run replacements too, self-replacing herd?
Self-replacing herd. And so the genetics are very important for us to get those good modern genetics through the herd.
Yep, very good. Now, Grace, we spoke early last year. You had some problems here with a pretty broad calving pattern in your heifers. That was just due to a transition between the farms, but you had some trouble with some calving ease too. We went through a few bulls and you selected specialists. What made you go towards using specialists here in the herd at Delunda?
We chose to use specialists on our heifers because he's low birth weight and he's got good calving age, but he's also got that growth that we're looking for to target the store size that we're going to find in.
Yeah, and also those replacement heifers that I think will come from that too, won't they?
Yeah, we'll look at
Yeah. And you didn't have to do any assist this year, and the calving pattern was tight in those heifers.
Yeah, there was just one breed.
Yeah.
That was all for them.
Yep. No, very good. Thank you for that, and it was a pleasure looking through your cattle.
Oh, thanks, Cam.
No worries.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to watch the Semex portion of the Angus Australia Bull Night. I'd like to take this opportunity once again to thank the clients and supporters of the Semex program in the last 12 months. Without you, we wouldn't have much of a business, so thank you. I'd like to take this opportunity as well to thank the Nichols family and Bull Oak Well. I'd like to thank Liz and Graham Glasgow from Claremont, and Grace Elsom and Jason Sondu from Jallenda Farms for allowing us to film their progeny for this Angus Bull Night. Also, I'd like to reach out and thank Brad Gilchrist for his special comments. I hope you found them informative. And like I said, we'll look forward to touching base with everyone again soon. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact an area rep in your part of the world or myself. There'll be an email and a phone number at the end of this video. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of a good year.
I suppose I love the challenges that farming provides as much as anything else. There's a huge degree of satisfaction in growing things and having things work. That really, I suppose, gets me out of bed in the morning. My name's James Arnott. I'm the manager of Berwick's, which is a property on the Liverpool Plains in New South Wales, about 5,000 hectares in total, with a mixture of cropping grain and beef cattle. On Berwick's we crop approximately 2,000 hectares, mainly sorghum and other summer crops, some cotton, wheat and barley in the winter. One of the major obstacles we've faced in farming in this region is obviously the climate. We've just been through 5 years of severe drought, followed on by 2 years of extreme wet, and it's hard to just come to terms with the changes. Certainly we'd prefer the mud than the dry. Farm insurance is critical for our operation here at Berwick's, really to preserve the business in case there is an accident or a disaster or something happens. Given that we have fairly large and diverse assets on the farm, whether that be machinery or buildings and structures, obviously those machines and structures are expensive. They're required to maintain and operate the farm, and the loss of any one of those assets can put the business at risk. Insurance is part of our risk management program here at Berwick's. Obviously, insurance is one of those things you don't really know you need until you need it, but it's important to have a lot of those factors covered off on in case there is a disaster, and so the business can continue. Our job really is to protect the viability of the business. We have an all-in-one farm pack policy with Agri Australia, which covers our buildings, other structures, plant equipment, vehicles, as well as public liability cover. I was quite impressed with the way Acmea produced their initial insurance portfolio and the quote. All the buildings were photographed and everything was basically inspected, and a schedule was laid out, which really left us in no doubt what was covered and what wasn't. And so that worked really well for us. We have had one claim so far with Agri-Australia, and that was a case of a small tractor and a slasher that was lost in a fire. The claim was settled very quickly and with a minimum fuss. For us, the most critical part of the claims process is it being easy and not taking up too much time and paperwork in trying to process claims and fighting over values. In that case, it was seamless. One of the big factors in negotiating our final policy with Agri-Australia was around risk versus premium cost, and the ability to change levels of cover and levels of excess on any particular item depending on the level of risk taken on for that item was quite important to us, and it worked quite well with Agria. At Berwick's, our insurance provider is Agri-Australia.
Hello, my name's Ben Glatz from Glatz's Black Angus. We welcome you to our first Angus Spring Bull Night presentation. Hopefully you find our presentation to bring a refreshing point of difference. We breed Angus cattle, and our core business is breeding bulls and maintaining an elite cow herd. The 3 AI sires we offer to the industry take up significant roles within our own AI and natural mating programs at Black Angus. These sires blend the attributes that we stand for. They're impressive to the eye, impressive on performance, and genetically secure. All 3 AI sires are suitable for heifers and yet have the power and potency to shape self-replacing cow herds. Black Angus Jonah Lomu, Black Angus Dusty Martin and Black Angus Geddes are Carvingese bulls that look and perform like cow bulls. Now let's have a look at them in the flesh.
Black Angus Jonah Lomu P229 is one impressive Angus sire. Jonah Lomu presents with much more horsepower and dimension in comparison to your run-of-the-mill Carvingese sires. He is above average frame with tremendous length, depth and width. At rising 5-year-old he remains sound and is well and truly proven as a Carvingese option for heifers and cows. Jonah Lomu has gained admiration from all the good judges on inspection. His first draft of sons sold extremely well in our on-property bull sale this year, and the first of his daughters will keep the dream cow family name alive. If you are wanting to add length, weight, fertility, outstanding docility and a positive fat carcass to your heifers and cows, Black Angus Jonah Lomu is your man. Black Angus Dusty Martin R608 ranks within the best 1% of the Angus breed for all 10 selection indexes. Highest indexes are not normally our catch cry, however when matched with a proper beef bull type, good structure and a proven maternal pedigree, Dusty Martin R608 kicks the goals. Dusty Martin was the only bull retained from his drop and has grown on particularly well since his footage was taken in January this year at only 17 months of age. He is a good structured and free-moving bull who is long, deep and wide from all angles. He exhibits tremendous breed character in a slick skin and 6 to 6.5 frame. A genuine low birth, positive Carvingese bull that can boast almost plus 13 for EMA with above 3 for IMF. Dusty Martin is currently thriving in a heavy workload of heifers and cows here at Black Angus, maintaining great condition. Black Angus Geddes R605 was probably the most talked about bull for the 2022 autumn selling season. He topped our sale selling to the Tiller family of Goolagong Angus. R605's now deceased sire Varalek Geddes was shaping to be Semex's big time AI bull. Varalek Geddes semen is no longer available. Black Angus Geddes matches phenomenal Sleep Easy Carvingese Direct at plus 9.5 with extremely conservative birth weight of only 1.6. He blasts through the growth sectionals, topping at plus 151 for 600 day weight whilst matching it with plus 3 for IMF. He ranks in the top 1 to 6% of the Angus breed for 8 of the 10 selection indexes. Most importantly to us, Black Angus Geddes is particularly correct in structure with magnificent overall type. He is a free-moving and smoothly made frame 7 bull that exhibits bomb-proof docility. Heath Tiller reports that R605 has come out of centre in great shape. His continued development since January this year, when the footage was taken, sets him up well for his natural mating this winter.
Hopefully you've enjoyed our Spring Bull Night presentation for 2022. We encourage you to contact us directly about your upcoming AI programs, whether they be on commercial cattle or in a stud situation. We personally know these bulls inside out and can help you work to get the best results in your upcoming AI program. Glatz's Black Angus semen size are conservatively priced and volume discount supply. We look forward to hearing from you soon.
Good evening everyone, and I hope you're enjoying the lineup from this year's Spring Bull Night. Angus Australia is currently running a webinar series called Angus Essentials, aimed at people who are new to breeding Angus registered cattle, but also for those who are old to the game but looking for some new tricks. Coincidentally, the next webinar that we're holding, which is on the 8th of September at 7 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time, is on running a successful AI program. And we'll take a deep dive into the importance that nutrition plays, how to run an AI program from woe to go, and also the benefits of fixed time AI, plus some tips and tricks for new players. If you'd like to join us, please register via the Angus Australia website, and we'd love to see you there.
Well, g'day everyone, and welcome to the Spring Angus Bull Night for 2022 for Breeder Genetics. It's great to be able to present to you tonight. I'm really excited for what we've got on offer this year. Recently back from a trip through America, covered about a bit over 11,000 kilometres, visited over 30 operations and saw countless AI size. It was great to be over there and have some boots on the ground. I think it's really important to get over to the US as much as possible to see the bulls, see progeny and understand how those bulls are performing, but it's just as important to see the programs and the cow families that have produced those bulls. I think it's really important that we understand the differences between the two countries and understand how some of those bulls will and won't perform out here within the Australian environment and the marketplace. Tonight, really excited, going to be talking about 10 bulls tonight. And then we're going to finish off with three new bulls at the end that are pretty excited to introduce into the market. So tonight, the first bull I want to talk about is a bull that's been dominating the spring sales so far, and that's Karoo Realist N278. We've had a lot of semen walking out the door on this bull at the moment after people have seen his first son sell. At Burrigal, they were $2.5 grand over the sale average, and at Cascade, with over half the offering Realist sons, they averaged nearly $1 grand over the sale average, so I thought they were some pretty impressive results. A really balanced multi-trait sire. Note his IMF is now hitting that 3, and that's coming off the back of scan data. Raw scan data on the Realist is looking really good, hence why we've seen a pretty big lift on the IMF. Progeny are really easy to sell. He's a bull that ticks all the boxes, a lot of functionality. Really excited for his first daughters now calving. The reports we're getting on them, fantastic udders, so really excited about that. Offers a fair bit of pedigree diversity from a US genetic standpoint. I think the bull that will complement a lot of US current genetics. If you haven't used Realist yet, it's probably time for you to jump on the train and give him a go. Next bull, inspected really well in the US, and that's Sterling Pacific 904. He's a powerful, slick-skinned, docile bull. The feet on the bull inspected really well, and progeny are looking really good. The new photo of Pacific I really think shows the bull really accurately. Really excited to get this picture out to you tonight. I think the bull is a really good bull to use on females that need some extra weight and performance and just punch them up out of the ground a bit. You know, the type of cow that is stout, thick-ribbed. You know, he's top 1% on all growth traits. He's really a bull to add that growth and performance, and he's got the added maternal strength of the Baldridge Isabel Y69, who obviously needs no introduction. The next bull, another American bull, I want to just touch on, probably a bull to my mind that's probably been overlooked a little bit by some, and that's Musgrave Avenger. Avengers, we're getting some really solid calf reports and progeny reports now. His first sons are about to sell at Bulliac in Queensland. Really excited to see what this bull's going to be able to do. I think you need to have a bit of another look at this. He's a low birth, calving ease bull that brings a lot of power and performance to the table. But probably most importantly, I think he's going to be a female maker. The daughters were absolute standouts after the June trip to Musgrave. I think the udders on those females are going to be pretty good. The docility now is stacking up at about top 20% now, with some progeny reports coming in, so that was really pleasing to see. He has great muscle shape phenotype, a lot of breed character, and obviously he's a sleep at night heifer bull that's now pretty proven in that department. The next bull, another heifer bull to roll into, Kelly Angus Quinn Q209. An absolute data machine that's having really small calves, it's getting up a lot of vigour, and then you just get to watch him grow. He's going really well in the commercial sector, and commercial guys are really lapping up this bull. Tremendous amount of carcass, he's got a great top on him. He's a really easy doing bull, and about 40 centimetre stones underneath him. The calves reports, as I said, they're light birth, they're about 32 kilos born, they're doing a lot, elite package with calving ease, short gestation, growth docility, and a really high-end carcass merit. The next bull I want to talk to you about is Sterling Confidence Plus 804. He's a pretty interesting bull when we look at his data, but to me what's most exciting are his results out of the Cinders bull test from 2019. So he was the highest ADG bull at 2.41 kilos a day. He had the highest RFI at negative 3.84, and his feed conversion ratio was also the best at 4.51 to 1. So that combination of feed efficiency and growth I think is really hard to come by, and hence why after inspecting him in June and getting some early reports on the bull, we sort of had to jump on him pretty quick. He's a very impressive in the flesh. He has a great, really good foot on him, really soft, easy fleshing bull. He's got a really good skin, really docile. I'm really excited about what this bull's going to do. So his granddam is actually the mother of Isabel Y69, and with Hoover Dam on the bottom side of the pedigree, I think that's really good. We're seeing Hoover Dam pop up on the bottom side of a lot of pedigrees now, and then we also have the 1209 cow on the top side. The daughters on this bull were probably the most exciting of all. The udders and the maternal ability of this bull I think is going to be top notch. Definitely going to be an udder improver from what I've seen in the US where he's been used. They're small born, explosive growth with a very balanced data set, very proven cow family, obviously with a lot of maternal focus. Next bull I want to roll into is a really exciting young bull we've got that hit the books late last year, and that's Lawson's Rocky R4010. Rocky was the record breaking and is the highest selling yearling bull in Australia across all breeds, selling for $130,000 to Kelly's Angus, Gilmandyke Angus, Dunoon Angus and Knoll Livestock. Rocky is a type of bull that really commands your attention with his sire appeal and overall balance and a presence, and a really attractive, well-made package. A bull that stands really square to the ground, and you really have to admire him for his added muscling and overall natural thickness and base width. I think it's really exciting to have a bull with that amount of base width and natural thickness and then still be a 5.5 IMF. I haven't been able to come across a bull that can really wrap that up in a single package. Rocky was 34 kilos born out of a maiden heifer. Who was a really functional female and with a really picture perfect udder. And it was actually a video of Rocky's mother that got us over the line to get involved with the bull. I think she looks tremendous, and here these updated pictures, I think they really show her off well now. She's getting a bit of age under her as a P cow. I think the data speaks for itself. He's the only animal in the entire breed to have his combination of calving ease, growth, fertility and carcass data. I really think Rocky right now is a bit unmatched, and he's seeing a lot of use. We're really excited for the future of this guy. First calves are on the ground, they're coming early, they're coming small, and they're getting up and growing. Really looking forward to what the future has to offer here. The next bull I want to roll into is an American bull out of the Baldridge stable, and that's Versatile. Versatile sold for $250,000 in their 2019 sale. He's a son out of the Blackbird AO30 cow who has really written herself into the history books. She's the mother of Alternative and Command, so she's a very proven cow that's bred a lot and done a lot of things within the Baldridge program. The bull on inspection when we saw him in June is a really easy fleshing, long bull, deep bodied bull, very free moving and is really docile, great amount of sire appeal, and just overall presence in the bull I think is really impressive. He stands square to the ground and is really free moving and has a lot of base width about him. What got me most excited about Versatile when I was in the US though were his progeny. Saw a lot of progeny around. For a bull that is that high IMF to be able to transmit as much power and muscling as he does, I think's unmatched of any current US sire. We have a lot more semen arriving this spring, if it's not here already by the time this goes out. So really excited for Versatile and what he's going to be able to do. I think he's a pretty impressive prospect. Going to move on now to the 3 new bulls we've got to present to you tonight. Really excited about what these bulls are going to be able to do for you and also what they bring to the table. So the first bull tonight, with the success of Nobleman N127, quickly realised we needed to find a son to carry on his legacy and attributes that he brings up to the game. So introducing Revolution R190. Revolution is a bull that brings a pretty unique combination of softness, muscling and IMF to the table in a very safe heifer bull package. He also adds a lot of functionality traits such as high docility, fertility, structure, being good-footed right from the ground up. His cow family is the well-known designer cow family within the Nola herd and has produced some of their best bulls here over the last few years. Revolution has a great amount of sire appeal and presence, and for those wanting to move on progressively from Nobleman N127, this is a bull that you really need to be considering, especially from a safe heifer bull perspective, and brings a lot of carcass to the table. The next bull I want to talk to you about was the standout bull from the recent June America trip. He jumped through all the hoops for what we want to look for in American sire: growth, performance, docile, exceptionally good feet, a strong cow line, backed by a really impressive program that I really wanted to pull something out of. So I'm very excited to release to you tonight for the first time Keneally Waymaker. Waymaker is a bull that's going to add a lot of bone, length, performance, good skin, docility, constitution, softness and soundness. He just ticks all the boxes. He's got an outcross pedigree, giving him a lot of mating flexibility. Waymaker has been the high use bull in Keneally's now for the past 2 years, and it's pretty easy to see why. His first calves are on the ground and they showed a heap of shape and natural thickness and were clearly the standouts when we toured Keneally. When I visited Keneally's and asked where Waymaker's mother was, they knew exactly where she was and who she was. And when you consider the size of their operation and how many cows they had, I thought that was only a good thing that they knew who she was. And by God, isn't she a good cow? She has a great udder, a lot of natural wedge shape to her, the type of cow I think we'd all be happy to have 100 of to breed us bulls. When we analysed Waymaker's raw data, he ratioed in at 112 at weaning, 113 at yearling and 102 for EMA. But most impressively, he ratioed a whopping 157 for IMF scan. And now that's in a contemporary of about 400 plus bulls, so I think to me that's really exciting when he rises to the top of a massive contemporary. We're currently looking at his USA EPDs and data. We are getting him obviously genomics out here, so we will have Australian data on him in Australia here very soon. But what is pleasing to see that his US data does match his raw data and also his phenotype. We hope to have Waymaker's semen here really soon, so if you want to be able to ensure your supply, please let us know and we'll make sure we get some here for you. We're really excited about this American sire. He's by far the standout across the whole trip. I think he has a lot to offer and a bull that doesn't need to be overlooked. The last bull to release tonight, and I want to talk to you about tonight, has had my phone ringing non-stop and people from all over coming to look and inspect the bull. It is none other than the Nola So Right S48. So Right is the $190,000 selection from this year's Nola Livestock production sale, selling to Gerald Spry of Spry's Angus and Tony Rudder of Cottage Creek Angus, with numerous well-respected studs as the underbidders. So Right was the first son of Baldridge Alternative to sell in Australia, and now that we don't have any more semen available on Alternative, So Right is a great option and is a progressive option and advancement for the Alternative line. The Alternatives in the sale were the highest averaging sire group, with 8 sons selling for just under $50,000. Phenotypically, So Right, it has a tremendous amount of spring of rib, depth of rib. He has great structure and muscling, all being clean-fronted with a great ability to move effortlessly and with great sire appeal and overall presence. The cow power behind So Right is unmatched with the designer cow family. Mother entering the donor program, already having 2 donors within the program at NOLA. So Right is a grandson of designer V96, who has arguably been the best cow to walk at NOLA. When you analyse the phenotype, cow power behind the bull and the data he brings to the table, he's very hard bull to fault. He's a great bull to use over a lot of modern pedigrees at the moment that have been a lot of high use when we consider he's a great bull to use over Mo, Ashland, Phoenix, Enticed Daughters. Then we move on to Prime Ministers, Realist, L519s, Momentous, Fireballs and Keystones. And I think the list can really go on. I think this is a bull that has enough pedigree diversity and is going to be able to transmit a lot of power, a lot of muscling, but also maintaining a bit of IMF, a lot of softness and overall presence. I think he's going to be a really exciting bull to use. I think you're going to find a lot of cows to join to him. We are beyond excited to be able to partner with Spry's and Cottage Creek Angus to promote the bull and market him this spring and moving forward. If you've got any questions about the bull, please don't hesitate to get in touch with myself or Gerald Spry to ask any questions or organise an inspection of the bull. Thanks guys, that wraps it all up for me tonight. Thanks so much for watching, but also thanks to Angus Australia for once again putting on a great event. I really enjoy this night, not only for what we have to offer, but for what everyone to see what bulls are currently out there. For those that know me well, it's my absolute passion and I love doing this and I love seeing good cattle across good genetics. If you have any questions or inquiries about the bulls, if you want more information, please don't hesitate to reach out. Happy to share videos of the bulls, of their mothers, feet, progeny, well, you name it, happily to share it along. At the end of the day, if I can provide the extra information for you to make a better breeding decision, for me, I've done my job. Happy to share the good, bad and ugly, so if you want to even inspect the bulls, we'll do our best to accommodate that. I think it's really important we don't lock these bulls up and hide them out of the main sunlight. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to catch up with you all soon. Feel free to give me a call, send me an email, love to have a chat. Thanks guys, cheers.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sophia Edwards from Agri-Gene Australia. As part of the Repro 360 project and proud partners of Angus Australia, we're here at the Spring Bull Night to bring you some information on how to manage your AI program this year. We understand you guys are here to look at the next and newest best Angus sires that might be available for your AI program. We understand that AI is an investment in the genetics of your herd for the future. Therefore, we've invited Dr. Penelope McGowan, a beef cattle reproduction specialist, to be able to give her tips and opinions on how to best run your AI program this year.
It really requires a fair bit of thought and preparation is probably a good place to start. Those cows are going to calve. They're going to need a minimum of 60 days from when the last cow calves in order to allow their reproductive tracts to get back into shape again, and also remember they're going to be under fairly high lactation stress during those 60 days, so they will need to be fairly closely monitored with regard to getting the right nutrition. They need to be in a forward score at least 3 at the time of the AI program, so they'll probably, if you're doing really well, they will calve in that condition or better, but they won't stay there, so just keep really close tabs on their nutrition. They may require a fresh paddock, they may require some supplement, they may require lick, depending on where you are and what you have available. It's pretty intensive when it comes time for the program, so the cows that have a better temperament, have been through the yards plenty of times before and haven't shown any adverse reaction to it, they're going to be the mob of cows that you're going to maximise your results with. Preparation, probably selecting genetics. If you are doing heifers, you need to look at the genetics you're going to use over those heifers. It's going to be their first calf. We don't want to end up with dystocias and we don't want to end up with major problems at calving when you get that far. The second point with semen is if it's not in your tank at your yards or at your place, then you don't assume that the freight is going to get it there in a timely manner. We've had way too many disasters. It's not unusual for shippers to go dry and lose everything. Your injectable hormones, The other really important part about them is storage. There is a cold chain supply. They will come from wherever they come from, and you will be safe that they've arrived. Check that they're cold when they arrive. It is quite safe to store those products at, say, room temperature in the fridge, and that would be my recommendation. Needles are cheap. The important thing is getting that injection into the muscle of that cow and not taking a whole pile of contamination and dust with you. So get that injection into that muscle cleanly, use a different needle for every cow. Factor in this whole program about putting an AI program together. I'm specifically talking about reproductive diseases. Have you had these diseases before? Do you test for these diseases? Are your cows in a closed herd? We need to look at the risk that your cows that are going into this program may have been exposed. Vaccination obviously is a way to be fairly accurately sure that you don't have the disease. And that's what we generally recommend for all AI programs, is to be up to date with vaccinations. We had a mob of AI cows that hadn't been vaccinated, but it was dry and they were being fed a ration through a self-feeder. Now, what we didn't know, and we didn't find out until later on when we started testing, is that the pigs were also joining them at the feeder, and these cows were full of lepto. So we're looking at a 25-30% conception rate. Now, that is a really, really bad result from the farmer, and it could have been avoided with the vaccinations. So we come to the program. Be sure that you have your protocol in front of you. Be sure that you put it into a calendar. Be sure that you are all over it, and that you're not going to miss the times and the days that you need to treat, and the drug, the hormone that you need to treat with. So really important that the bulls are secure, and if you can't control your bulls, or you can't make your bulls that secure, keep the cows in a yard for that period of time. If you have an issue, if you look at your diary and you missed an injection, or if you've given an injection early, and whatever it is, it happens. It's human nature. But please be in communication with whoever it is that's supplying the program and the protocols, whether that's back to your AI tech, back to your vet, back to Vetaquinol, and we can generally adjust things so that we can make this program work. The protocol is the protocol. Please don't cut corners. Even things like the heat patch which you put on, we need to have that, even though in our particular case we scan every ovary and look for a follicle at AI time. We need to see that those Estrotec heat patches are going off during that time. Have a look at them when they're on heat. Don't stick them out in the holding paddock and forget about them until the next day. Just attention to detail. It's a big investment on your part. It's really important to have a good vet crush that has a kick gate and has a vet box at the back. Not only from a safety perspective, but again from a timing perspective, and for a low stress, improved welfare outcome. Have yards that have water in them, good clean water that they can access, that all of them can access easily, and enough space in that yard that you can have hay available, and they've got a place to sit down and be happy. One thing I can say, and again I can't measure it, but happy cows seem to get very good results. Usually we say put your cover bulls out 10 days after you AI, so we are looking at a 65 to 75% take rate on your AI program. So that, do the calculation, how many cows or heifers are likely to be cycling in that next window, and make sure there's enough bull power there for them. Again, artificial reproduction is not natural service, so we need to make sure that you don't spend all this time and effort in getting the nutrition right and getting the program right, and then just putting them out in the paddock and forgetting about them. Keep tabs on them, make sure they've got plenty of feed in front of them, plenty of energy, and do yourself a favour, go for a drive 21 days, 20 to 23 days after that program, and you have a bit of a look there, see what's going on, and that'll give you a little bit of an insight into how you went with your program. Preg testing, generally we'll do that 6 weeks after the program. If you want to spin that mob around and re-AI, we can do an earlier preg test than that and start the next program at the time of the preg test.
Welcome everybody to a very special presentation of the worldwide size Angus Australia Spring Bull Night. We are actually coming to you from Kansas City in the United States as part of our 2-week tour here. And we have some very special guests with us to help us through the night tonight. First of all, I have Lorna Marshall with me here on my right, and I have Ryan Bodenhausen on my left. Lorna, would you like to, everybody in Australia knows pretty much Lorna, I think, from her involvement in the cattle industry over the years. Probably not Ryan. So Lorna, would you like to?
Sure, I would love to introduce Ryan to our Australian family. Ryan joined the beef department about 18 months ago. Ryan has actually been a member of the Select Sires team for the last 10 years, and he's an ideal fit. He's taken on the lead for all of our beef sire acquisition and marketing efforts. And a little bit about Ryan's background. He's a fellow Kansas State University graduate. He is a Simmental breeder. Before coming to Select Sires, he was an evaluator for a breed association. And so I think one of the really neat things about Ryan in this role is that he really blends his ability to evaluate cattle with his ability to look at performance data, incorporate genomic information to make some really good decisions. And so really excited to have Ryan on board. And he's got to spend some time with the Australians and their tour over here. So really learning a lot about, what's important to the Australian beef industry.
With that, I guess we'll get started on talking about some bulls. I think you're going to lead off, Lorna.
Yep. So my favorite thing talking about bulls, and we're going to talk about Safe and Sound. This is a really unique bull that we found in Oklahoma last year. Millbrae identified is a sire that has been very popular in the United States as kind of an outcross carcass bull. And I think we have two of the best identified sons in the breed at Select Sires in Safe and Sound and Voracious. I'm going to talk about Safe and Sound. He is a calving ease cow maker, which happens to be one of the biggest semen markets that we have domestically here in the U.S. And really unique in terms of his EPD profile. If you study his EPD profile, he's going to rank in the top 20% of the breed for almost every economically relevant trait, whether that's calving ease and performance, maternal traits, or carcass merit. He happens to rank in the top 1% of the breed for both the dollar maternal and the dollar weaning index. But to me, past his EPDs, the neatest, coolest thing about this bull is his phenotype. He's a big-bodied, big-hipped bull, outstanding feet, great disposition. And probably my favorite thing about him is his mother. She is a Playbook Courage daughter, so very maternally bred, super big-bodied, easy-fleshing female, absolutely beautiful udder quality, and really good-footed. And so I think a really neat calving ease cow maker bull to start off our calving ease lineup.
Yep, and a new bull, obviously for us, only just arrived in Australia, so.
Yeah, and I didn't mention, but so we do have the first set of calves on the ground. They were born this spring. The biggest group would be at Keneally Angus, who's our partner on the bull. Outstanding calving ease. So we feel like he is going to be a surefire heifer bull. And even though the calves are young, I know, we've all seen a few of them, but Type and Kind is really, really good on these babies.
Yep, excellent. Excellent. Ryan, do you want to head on to the next bull?
Yeah, I think it's a nice lead into a very similar kind of a bull that we also view in County Road as a calving ease maternal sire. Another bull that kind of does a lot of things like Safe and Sound. He just checks a lot of boxes. He's got really good calving ease, but still ties in some good growth with it. But then also the real elite dollar maternal ranking combined with a really high dollar C as well. The bull himself is very impressive in person, just really sound structured, good-footed, really soft-sided, and really easy fleshing as well. So kind of a bull that we view as a calving ease, maternal kind of maker, a bull that can really go out and create some, some nice calves and maybe some cows down the road.
It comes from the Yawn program, who I think here in the United States is, really one of the elite performance programs, huge contemporary groups, great data, and they're very environmentally adapted, particularly for like those customers that are concerned about hair shedding and those kind of things in terms of working well in the Southeast.
Sure. And again, a new bull for us. I don't think we've actually got semen yet in Australia, but great new photo. Just received a fantastic new photo on the bull, and he looks tremendous.
He's really good.
He looks good. He looks really good. So,
and I think with that, Dale, I think you're going to talk about a bull in Ricochet.
Yeah, Ricochet is a new acquisition for us in Australia. He's a domestic bull. He was the high-selling bull at the Ryland Angus bull sale here a few months back in Australia. He was purchased by a bull stud called Riddleview that we work closely with. Ricochet is a really, really nice calving ease bull, low birth, I would say really adequate growth, but probably where he excels is hot, huge scrotal, great fat cover, and a massive IMF score of 4.3, so top 2% for IMF.
Wow.
So he's a heifer bull that you won't sacrifice carcass on. He was admired by a lot of breeders at the sale for his disposition, real gentle bull. So we're really excited for this bull to come into the program. He'll be available for the spring. He's only just started to make semen now. We're really excited for this bull to come into the program and see what he can do.
Next, we're going to roll into a set of bulls that we kind of view as balanced bulls that really excel for feet, and especially feet EPDs as well. And so kind of a set of bulls that we think are really exciting that kind of use across the board and improve feet quality. So Lorna, would you like to start with maybe Justice?
Yeah, so we're really excited about Justice. Justified has been a very popular bull in the Angus breed, primarily because of what he does for feet. And so we've been searching for a Justified son that is higher growth. Was really excited to find this bull in Wyoming. Really stood out to us. We first found him because of his phenotype, super complete. He's a bull that really has a herd bull presence, really massive in his design, and has EPDs for foot EPDs that are in the top 1% of the breed. And then, on top of that, he's a little bit differently bred on the bottom side of his pedigree. He's a cash out of a mandate, so he provides some mating flexibility, and has been a really popular bull, particularly in the western part of the United States, as kind of a calving ease cow maker type bull. And so just super excited about him. First calves were born this spring at Stevenson's in Montana. Looks like he's going to be a no-miss heifer bull. So again, can be used as a heifer bull, but offers a lot of other things in terms of maternal traits, performance, and just really excited about the mating flexibility that he offers. And, as we talk about those kind of bulls, I think, Ryan, you're going to talk about Iron Horse, another bull that we're really excited about, has had a huge sales year here in the States this spring.
Yeah, he's off to a really good start this spring.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of flying up the charts for sales in his first full season with Select, and so we're really excited about Iron Horse. And I think he fits in this category because of just how balanced he is across the board. He's a calving ease bull that's got growth, he's got carcass, but probably the most unique thing, and Dale, we've seen some this week, and we're really impressed with the foot quality of the cattle, and it shows in his EPDs as well. So a bull that also offers some mating flexibility, especially within select sire pedigrees. He is out of a Butkus-Daughter, which was a select sires bull, but a bull that wasn't with us all that long. And so he does offer some mating flexibility from that standpoint, but a bull that we really like the phenotype on them. They were easy to pick out when we saw the calves and the yearlings. They just kind of have a consistent phenotype to them.
Yep.
Really attractive in their design, deep-bodied, level hip, square hip. So you really like the type and kind of them combined with the balanced set of data that he has. So.
And the marketability, I think, is what surprised all of us. So, he was a unique bull that we brought in as semi-proven.
Yes. Yep.
And so all the semen had gotten scattered before we got him. And if you look at sales reports this spring, they topped a lot of sales, and not because they were carrying that breeder's prefix, but because customers found them and they really were the whole package. And so.
Well, the progeny we inspected, Ryan, their foot quality was almost perfect, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very good.
We couldn't find a bad-footed one amongst them. So, he's only just arrived as well in Australia, and there's a lot of interest in this bull already. So,
and like we kind of talked driving around afterwards, he's kind of one of those bulls that because of the data, because of the phenotype and the feet, you can kind of blanket him across a set of cows and end up with really nice sets. So I think with that, you're going to talk about the next bull, Dale, and Power Play.
Yep. So Texas Power Play, he's a bull that we acquired probably 2 years ago now. He was the high seller at Texas Angus. Just a really, really powerful, big-bodied bull. But interestingly, he's actually turned into a calving ease heifer bull. Mm-hmm. So we're starting to see a lot of uptake in this bull in big commercial heifer programs, which is really exciting. We saw a bunch of cars before we flew over. In actual fact, one of the guys that used him, they were born so small, he kind of thought, will I use this bull again? 3 months later, they've just exploded. So he's come in and ordered a bunch more semen. So I think this is probably where this bull's going to go. He's a bona fide heifer bull. He's a big, powerful, strong-made bull, good-footed bull, highly docile bull. He's out of one of the strongest, probably maternal cows in the breed at Texas Angus. She's probably sold over $1 million in progeny.
Wow.
Yeah, so the maternal side on this bull is super strong. So he's been around for a couple of years, but just a magnificent bull. Yeah.
I think the really cool thing, Dale, is I remember when you acquired him in Australia. I mean, it made waves here in the United States because he brought so much money and there was so much excitement around him. And so it's cool to hear that story.
It's great to see the progeny start to come through, and they are what we hoped they would be. And it's really neat. Yeah. Well, we might move on to a few more bulls here. Probably concentrate on some performance, maybe some carcass type bulls. We'll move on to a new bull that came across our desk here a little while back called Virginia Tech Statesman. Really, really good data set. Really like the pedigree on the bull. So straight away we got some semen qualified on the bull, and can't wait for the bull to come to Australia. Lorna, would you like to lead into Statesman and just give us a little bit of an insight on him?
Sure. Statesman is one of about 4 really high-profile Angus bulls that our team was able to acquire this spring. I think we had a great acquisition year. Honestly, Ryan, you did a phenomenal job in terms of some really high-profile bulls. Statesman is part of that group. He is a bull that was bred by Virginia Tech, and was a really high-profile private treaty acquisition that we had with our partners Knollcrest Farms and Deer Valley Farms. And one of the terms that I've learned in traveling to Australia is grunt. And to me, Statesman is a grunt kind of a bull. He is a patriarch son, and we've been looking for the right patriarch son. If you sort the Angus database, he's one of the biggest spread patriarchs. 0 to 170 pounds of yearling weight. He's also a bull that does heifer pregnancy really well. I think he's over 17 for heifer pregnancy. He's good for his foot predictions. He's also a bull that's really elite in terms of carcass merit. He's over 1.2 for marbling. So combines that kind of difficult 2 traits in terms of being good-footed and also high carcass merit. And then you get growth on top of that. So really unique. And so Wright's a really unique, not only pedigree, but also EPD profile. And then when you combine that with his phenotype, which he's really cool phenotypically, he's a pretty neat breeding package that I think for the select sires folks is going to provide a lot of mating flexibility. He is a little bigger frame bull, super long bodied, really big footed and stout boned. And it's a bull that's got a really stout presence to him. And so very excited to get him introduced to the marketplace. With that, Ryan, I think you're going to cover Hometown Hero.
Yeah. So Hero's a bull that we brought in, really last fall, but he sold as the Lot 1 in Gardner sale this spring in April, and a bull that we're really excited about. Hometown has been just tremendous for us in terms of sales, but also the cattle are really good. They're really great phenotypically, and he always knocks it out of the park in terms of marbling, and just a bull that's been really consistent for us. Hometown is a calving ease bull. When we found Hero, we wanted a bull that maybe offered a little more grunt, a little more punch, a little more growth. And we, Lorna and I were able to go to Gardner's, and as soon as we saw Hero in the pen, we knew we had to have him. I mean, he's just exceptional phenotypically. I mean, he's just got that presence to him. He's got that balance. He's got that extra hip, that extra muscle shape and power that you don't always find in a carcass bull, but he still has that top-ranking marbling score. And so he offers the extra growth over Hometown with still that elite marbling and with a little extra punch and power.
And I think, Ryan, part of the conversation that we had is if you look back at our sales over time, 2 of our best-selling Gardner bulls ever were Predestined and Gridmaker, and this bull really reminds me of having, the similar type power, performance, stoutness of those bulls, and just how well they were received by the marketplace. And so very excited we haven't had that kind of a bull from the Gardner program in a while, so very excited about him.
And we also really liked his feet when we saw him. And if you look, he's above breed average for both claw and angle. So I mean, he's a growth and carcass bull that brings some foot quality as well. And I think with that, Dale, you're going to maybe talk about Top Gun.
So we acquired another bull from the great Texas program back home in Australia called Texas Top Gun, out of a similar maternal line to Texas Power Play. So great maternal strength in there. One of the first Maverick sons to sell in Australia. As Ryan suggested, probably maybe a little longer made than a lot of the Mavericks. A lot of the cattlemen that were at the Texas sale really admired this bull. They thought he was probably the pick of the bulls. A lot of the real cattlemen really liked the look of the bull. He has tremendous carcass data. He has tremendous calving ease data. The first Top Guns have just been born back home. So at this stage, obviously little baby calves, but everyone really likes the way they look. So he got used quite heavy. We think there'll be a lot more uptake on this bull leading into the spring. So again, out of the Great Texas program, a lot of maternal might behind all of the bulls out of that program. So really, excited to see where Top Gun goes over the next year or so.
Yeah, really a nice set of bulls here that kind of tie everything together in terms of growth. Some, good maternal lines to back them, as well as then the carcass.
Yeah.
And I think that's the exciting thing, Dale, about what you've done. You've created a lot of momentum in Australia, and I think we're all really excited to see, where that leads. And I think there's a really bright future for Worldwide Sires Australia. So.
Yeah, and obviously it can't happen without you guys. So it's been a great tour so far. Getting towards the back end of it, but. It's been great fun to get back out and talk to cattle people, and we're really excited for the spring with all these. A lot of these are new bulls, so so that probably winds up our presentation. We hope everybody, enjoys everybody else's presentations for the night, and we hope to get out and catch up with everyone on the road as we head into the spring breeding season. And as I said, a very special presentation here from Kansas City in the United States, and we hope everybody has a good night. Thank you.
I'm Andrew Medhurst, part of the Alta Australia Beef team. We're currently on site filming for the Angus Australia 2022 Spring Bull Night. We've seen some pretty special cows, met some pretty special people, and you can join us for another all Alta adventure.
All Aussie adventures.
We're here today at Stella Livestock with Julie and Carol and family. With a new bull of ours, Stella Quicksilver Q7 for 2022. Julian, just want to tell us a bit about Q7 and what you're seeing.
Q7 revealed himself just after weaning as being a great bull in the team, probably the pick of the drop easily. He'd be the one that would come and walk up behind you and give you a sniff and a lick. He's got beautiful temperament. And certainly jumped out once we did the ultrasound scan and genomics, and went to the top 1% for IMF and EMA. He's also right up there for carcass weight and 400-day growth. We really like to get that early growth into them and then keep a lid on the mature cow weight. So he's a bull that does that with top 5% growth and then mature cow weight, which is less than his 400-day score of 105, I think it is today. Birth weights right in the midpoint of the breed average. Out of a line of cows called Vicky. He's the first calf out of his mum, so that was a nice surprise when that turns up. So his mother's a profit cow with amazing feet. I think she's top 2% for foot angle, perhaps something like that. And she's got a pedigree stacked with good foot scores. She's out of a Sits Upward cow who I picked up at a dispersal up at Aberdeen Estates, who goes back to KO Vicky.
We're here today at Bellisburg Repro and Angus with Brenton Sessions with a new sire of ours for 2022 in Bellisburg Platinum P46. Brenton, just want to tell us a bit about the bull and how he's bred and what you're seeing with him?
Yeah, Platinum. He's a bull we bred here ourselves a couple of years ago, and a bull that we think is doing wonderful things. He's one of the few bulls in the breed that has exceptional phenotype, beautiful feet, and wonderful carcass attributes. There's so many of his carcass traits in the top 10% that IMF figure at 3.4, nearly 10 for eye muscle. There's not many bulls in the breed that have the breed character, the head and the bone like this that has those kind of carcass attributes. And the bull himself, he's always been super quiet in his own right. He's a big free moving bull. He's just a tad over 1,200 kilos, rising 4-year-old. He's worked spring and autumn since 18 months of age, actually even 12 months of age. So he's a bull that's done it on his own merit. He's super easy keeping. The cow he's out of, she's out of that imported Erica family that just about everyone in the world would know about, and she's a big long body cow that just keeps the nick on herself and always looks $1 million. So we're really happy with the calves coming through. We've got probably maybe 25 bulls for next year by P46, and I'd say they're up there with the leading sire group at this point in time. They're the calves that sort of really catch your eye as young calf, but they just accelerate on from 12 months of age.
I've actually been in the industry, I kind of consider it all my life. I grew up with a registered Angus farm in the state of Maryland in the eastern half of the United States. Got my degree at Virginia Tech in animal breeding, and went to work for the American Angus Association as a regional manager, and served there for 9 years in the Midwestern part of the United States. Left there, worked for the Illinois Beef Association for about 2 years, and then went to work for a company called Alta Genetics, and was their beef genetics manager there for about 23 years until they sold to Select Sires. And at that point, then I moved to Alta Genetics and been there for about 5 years. So I consider myself a lifelong Angus breeder and been part of the Angus industry ever since I was back in high school many years ago.
Let's talk about some bulls. That's what
Absolutely.
we're here for. A couple of new bulls, Don, that we introduced this year. The first bull is the 44 double clay bull. He sort of caught our eye early on. Just mainly, he's the profile of the bull. Like, he was such an impressive looking individual as a calf.
He really is an outstanding individual. He was a bull that we picked up from the 44 Farms program in Texas. For those of you that aren't familiar with 44 Farms, they're one of the largest Angus breeders and one of the largest seed stock suppliers in the United States. But when you look at double plays data, both in the U.S. and also in Australia, I mean, he's in the top 1% of the breed for 200, 400, 600 weights, and does it pretty handily. He's also, again, top 1% of the breed for carcass weight, and up there pretty high for eye muscle area as well. And of course, on the Angus breeding indexes, he ranks in the top 1%. So he does. He's kind of a perfect bull from Alta to start about our conversation, because he's got performance, he's got pounds, he's got muscle shape. When you look at the bull himself, he's big barreled, he's deep bodied, he's sound footed. Really easy on the eye, and really a great individual.
We'll move on to Culmination, Bennett Culmination, Don.
Yeah, Combination's a bull that from the Knollcrest Farms program, and of course Knollcrest Farms has been in the business for probably 4 generations now. But Culmination really had the combination of a lot of really great traits. And when you look at him across the board, when you look at him from a calving ease standpoint, I mean, he's excellent there for calving ease direct and for low birth weight. The bull really does, what a lot of people look for Angus cattle to do. But then you throw on top of that, here's a bull that's in the top 1% of the breed for his growth traits. He's really high for his marbling and his ribeye area. He's a bull that really does, I guess, all the things right that we look for. Gosh, I mean, what an attractive individual, really made well up through his front end and through his shoulder. A long-sided bull, really square when he stands on all four corners. Really a bull that, again, was very impressive when it came into the photo area.
Our star of the show at the moment here in Australia, and probably, I think, in the US as well, in Three Rivers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's really been a great bull for us. Leading sales here in the U.S. I mean, it's easy to talk about his performance. I mean, he's one of the highest bulls in the breed for both weaning and yearling growth. And again, when you look at the data in Australia, I mean, he's right up there in the top 1% of the breed for the 200, 400, 600 day weight. He's at the top of the breed for carcass weight. He's big muscled. Retail beef yield is way up there.
But Don, the other thing that's interesting and has certainly caught the eye of a lot of breeders here is his actual foot and foot structure EBVs are right at the top end. And it's interesting that it's also reflected in the US, which is the way it should be. This bull's, he's an outlier in that area.
I just pulled a pedigree on him here earlier today, and he's got 110 progeny that have been evaluated now, and he's still in the top 1%. So the data is backing up what the prediction was.
Yeah, first calves are on the ground at the moment. Tony contacted us pretty early and said, I've got a bull for you to use, so we thought we'd have a look at him. Early on, things are looking pretty good as they sort of run off now. Calves the females are generally pretty early born, drop them reasonably light too, which is good. A few bulls are calving a little bit later, but probably a little bit heavier. But yeah, really wrapped with how they're coming out and how they're hitting the ground and taking off.
So we'll move on to Woodhill Patton.
I mean, he's right up there in the top of the breed for calving. He's both direct and maternally, top 20% for gestational age, top 10% for low birth weight. So, I mean, he's kind of a heifer's dream to have a bull like Patton. And then, again, he's in the top 2 or 1% of the breed for his growth traits. And that's what we see here. That he's a bull that is maybe a tick more moderate when you look at him, but the progeny we've seen out of him do tend to be a little bit bigger frame and have a little bit more stretch to him. And that's been a plus with the people who've come to buy bulls out of him there at Woodhill Farms.
The feedback we're getting on him is certainly the calving ease, the gestation length is genuine. They are born early and they're small, and then they get up and get going. So, and Patton's got that wonderful cow family behind him.
Oh, sure. Yeah, actually, he's got it on kind of both sides. Of course, he's sired by Colonel, who's out of the Y69 cow, the famous Isabel cow. And then he's out of a really nice complement daughter that's been a donor there at Woodhill Farm. So really two really strong maternal lines to back him up.
So, Don, the next bull is probably a bull that's had a big impact here in Australia. Is 38 Special.
Oh, absolutely. And again, kind of ties right into what we were just talking about, strong maternal lines and calving ease and phenotype and everything, doing a lot of things right. 38 Special. I mean, he kind of burst on the scene when that first flush of he and his brothers sold there a few years back, all out of the Isabel Y69 cow, out of the Baldridge sale. He's been the one that really has stood the test of time and really has proven to be probably the best breeding son of that cow out of that the Commando flush. He's been used widely on a lot of heifers. The calving ease is sure real. The low birth weight is sure real on the bull. But they still have the performance to go right along with it. And again, you don't sacrifice the performance and the gains at 200 or 400 and 600 days just by using a bull that's really solid and proven on calving ease. Similar to like we talked about on Three Rivers, I mean, he's really one of the good-footed kind of a fleet improver that we have in our lineup. And when you look, again, I pulled his pedigree just earlier today. I mean, he's got over 500 progeny now been evaluated for foot scores, which would be probably one of the highest bulls in the breed right now, and still ranks in the top, 15% on both traits and almost the top 2% on claw, which seems to be the one more critical here. I think the other really big attribute to him is the daughters. Beautiful females, are feminine fronted. They've got plenty of barrel and flank in them, beautiful udders and teat design.
John, the other bull we like to talk about is power plant. For us, marbling or IMF is very important in our market, and this bull's an outlier in that area. And
power plant is a Powerball son out of a bull called Prime Divine, which is another bull that's been part of the Alta program. But the interesting thing is this bull really brings marbling and high carcass quality to the pinnacle of the breed. When we look at his traits, he's in the top 1% for carcass weight. He's almost a +2 for marbling. He's still in the top third of the breed for ribeye. So he really is excellent on those traits. He's got some top, he's got some shape to him. He's got more body to him than most cattle you're going to find here in the U.S. That are extreme in their marbling. He's got tremendous amount of growth bred into him from that cow line from Rosetta Farms. And still he's double-digit calving. He's in the U.S. market. So he's a bull that is extremely high. When we look at all of the selection indexes available here in the United States, he's in the top 1% of the breed for everyone except for the maternal one, which is pretty impressive. And he's actually a bull that we're using now in Alta in our embryo program to make the next generation sires. So
yeah, so he's, we're on the same page. We're looking at that bull and thinking there's an opportunity here to breed something with this bull, just because of the extreme numbers that he has.
Right.
Just a few thank yous to finish off the night. I'd like to thank Angus Australia for running the bull night again this year. It's always a good opportunity to be involved in and give back to industry. We'd also like to thank Brenton Sessions and Bellaspur Angus, Stella Livestock and the Carroll family, Merridale Angus and the Collins family for helping us profile a few bulls for 2022 and beyond.
And thanks to Don Trimmer for weighing in on all the US bulls. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram at Alta Genetics Australia Beef, and you can give us a ring if you've got any further questions on any of the bulls you've seen tonight. Thanks, and see you next year.
See you next year. Thank you.
Well, there we have it. Sadly, Spring Bull Night for 2022 has come to an end. A huge thank you to the 8 companies and breeders that have chosen to be involved in tonight's program. It's a fantastic showcase of the wonderful Angus genetics available in Australia from around the world. Once again, if you would like more information on the bulls, please contact the relevant semen companies. If you would like more information on how to find these bulls on the Angus Australia database, or how to use them in the mating predictor, or any points of clarification around EBVs or selection indexes, then please reach out. We're here to help. Just a reminder that feedback is critical for us to be able to continue to provide these types of events. And we would sure appreciate your response on the short survey in the comments and on the link below. The first 100 members also will receive an Angus Australia travel coffee mug by doing so. Thanks again everyone, good luck with your spring breeding programs, and we look forward to seeing you somewhere soon.